Install the Freedom Fiends Radio Android app today. It's free, and of course, it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. And get ready for LibPair with the Freedom Fiends Radio app for Android worms.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,249 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,804. Antiwar.com reports that Saudi warplanes continue to pound the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a at an increased rate on Thursday, while operations on the ground appear to have shifted southwest, with pro-Saudi forces attacking coastal areas held by the Shiite Houthi movement. Reports out of the Quqqa district on the Red Sea coast of Yemen say that pro-Saudi forces have more or less entirely captured the area, which includes a town and a small fishing port. At least 25 were killed in the fighting. The district itself is of limited value, but the push is in keeping with Saudi-led efforts to conquer as much of the Yemeni coast as possible to ensure that shipments of food and medicine into the country are done more or less exclusively under their control. Fishing ports notwithstanding, the Houthi movement has only a single port at Hodeidah, which would need food and medicine imports for 15 million people in northern Yemen. A Saudi blockade, however, allows a tiny fraction of that in. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Congress passed a short-term spending bill Thursday to prevent a government shutdown as Republicans attempt to reach a budget bill with Democrats by the end of the year. Senators approved the bill by a vote of 81-14 an hour after the House passed it on a vote of 235-193, keeping the federal government open through December 22nd. Representative Mike Simpson of Idaho said a vote against the resolution is a vote to shut down the government, while admitting a short-term funding measure is not ideal. President Donald Trump met with Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer of New York in hopes of pushing forward negotiations on a 2-year budget deal. Pelosi and other Democrats have stressed including deportation relief for Dreamers, recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program, in their negotiations. She said, "We will not leave here without a DACA fix." Trump was expected to encourage congressional leaders to keep anything related to DACA out of a budget negotiation while pushing to increase defense defense spending without boosting non-defense funding and convinced Democrats to agree to his border wall. Trump said, "We hope that we're going to make some great progress for our country. I think this will happen." Two Florida Republicans said they would vote against any year-end spending bill that did not include an immigration deal. Schumer said those demands were unlikely and a shutdown would reflect poorly on Trump and Republicans. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday sentenced Larry Nassar, the former USA Gymnastics team doctor accused of sexually assaulting gymnasts, to 60 years in prison on federal child porn charges that grew out of a sex abuse investigation. U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids, Michigan, handed down the sentence sought by prosecutors who said there was a link between Nassar's child pornography and his prolific molestation of children, according to court documents. Neff said he has demonstrated that he should never again have access to children. Nassar's attorney, Matt Newberg, said he was devastated and remorseful. Nassar pled guilty in July to possessing thousands of images and video of child pornography depicting children as young as infants between 2003 and 2016. Nassar is also set to be sentenced in January in Michigan courts after pleading guilty to additional counts of criminal sexual conduct related to allegations he assaulted girls under the guise of medical treatment. At that hearing, all of the more than 120 victims or their parents will be allowed to give impact statements. Nassar is likely to spend the remainder of his life in prison. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy, so it's like, and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful, all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us on the radio. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian
and Chris
and Mark.
As always, you're invited to join us on the air here. The toll-free numbers.
I come in special on a Friday night. No special introduction. No Mark is here to take over for nothing.
No, you're pretty typical. You're not very special.
Oh, that's right. Daryl's usually on.
Yeah, Daryl's gone. Now, Daryl's doing something special.
The co-hosts don't even know I'm not supposed to be here.
Daryl is doing something special. He is running a marathon tomorrow for the first time in his life. He is like Iron Man. The guy's had an incredible transformation. You want to talk about special and dynamic? Daryl W. Perry. He's your guy.
I've been on both of my days off this week.
Oh, that's really going out of your way.
Speaking of marathons.
You came in last night because you were bored at home.
I was not. I was coming back from jiu-jitsu class.
You didn't want to be bored at home.
Well,
you knew there was an open seat. You were listening to the show. You heard that Heather didn't show up, and you said, "I want to come in and be on the radio."
All of those facts are inaccurate.
What should I say to make them accurate? Because they got to be close.
I generally stop by on a Thursday.
Do you?
Heather wasn't here, so I sat in that chair. Daryl asked me if I wanted to have the microphone turned on.
Yeah, all right.
She had
what was going to happen.
Enough, huh?
No. She got sick or something like that. So.
That is allowed here.
That's true.
So anyway, we've got stuff to talk about as always here. You can bring up whatever's on your mind, and good luck to Daryl in his marathon tomorrow. The dude has had an incredible transformation over the last 3 years, I guess, 3 years.
Yeah.
Just took off basically 150 pounds of weight, and is going to the gym every single day and is constantly running like every day, every other day.
Yeah, he's really into it.
He's been doing half marathons, and now he's ready to go on up to the full marathon. So apparently it's happening in northern Maine. Probably not going to be the best weather for it, but,
Cold.
He's hardcore. He is hardcore.
It's freezing here.
Seems ill-advised.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you start running, then you tend to warm up. I mean, I've climbed the mountain here in Keene. It's been a few years, but
No mountain in Keene.
it's just outside of Keene. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes,
Mount
in the Monadnock region.
Monadnock, yeah.
The Monadnock region is named after Mount Monadnock, the supposedly most climbed mountain in North America or something like that.
I'm going to type that in while we're talking because we've said it so many times.
I don't.
Most.
We're repeating ourselves, and we finally were believing in what we're saying, even though it probably just started off as a rumor.
But I can tell you, even if it's the dead of winter and you start climbing up that mountain, you're going to start taking layers off. Like you're not even going to get up a quarter or a third of the way before you've shed 2 or 3 different layers and you're down to a t-shirt or something like that. You will warm up.
Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
The deadliest mountain in the world.
Kilimanjaro?
Is that you're just naming mountains?
Yeah.
How many people have died on
It has the name Kill in it. Or the word Kill in it.
How many people have died on Mount Kilimanjaro?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about climbing mountains.
Okay. I'm gonna proffer Mount Washington.
Really?
Yeah.
That's here in New Hampshire too.
More than 100 people dead on it. And you know why? It's only 6,000 feet. Has its own weather patterns. Silly Yankees.
They think they can just handle it.
Think that you can, climb up in flip-flops and shorts. And,
isn't it like
2/3 of the way up there dead.
Summer? Isn't it snowing in there in the
sometimes?
Summertime or whatever?
Yeah.
The conditions change very rapidly, so you can go from like good weather to terrible conditions over a matter of minutes, I guess.
So some other things that are subject to change. The Bitcoin price. It's been an amazing record-setting week here this week for Bitcoin, where we saw peaks. And depending on the market that you were looking at, some markets got up to $18,000, $19,000 for one $19,000 US for one Bitcoin. And the Bitcoin average price, I believe, did eclipse $17,000 US before tumbling all the way down to where it was 2 days ago at like 15,000. And today it's sort of been making its way back up. And what's it at? Like close to 16,000 right now. So it's just been an amazing roller coaster ride on Bitcoin, and it's got everybody talking. I mean, maybe not everybody, but certainly a lot of people in the news media are discussing Bitcoin, which of course means they're trotting out the supposed financial experts. This Bitcoin has crossed over $10,000. What was that, a week ago now or something like that? It crossed $10,000, so we're talking about it, but we need to make sure people know to be afraid and to be very afraid about Bitcoin. So they've trotted out this Jim Cramer guy from Mad Money.
Mad Money.
Now, he does a show on CNBC, I believe it is. They've got his top 5 reasons for being suspicious of Bitcoin.
Stark Industries is a weapons manufacturer that doesn't manufacture weapons?
That's a comic book thing, right?
He was actually in one of those movies.
Oh,
he
was
might have
an
been
actor?
the first Iron Man.
So,
well, I mean, Jim Cramer is a money guy who happened to be an Iron Man.
Cramer is not, this isn't his first time attacking Bitcoin. I'm not intimately familiar with the man's show or whatever. I know he's kind of a name in the talking head scene on television news channels, but that's about all I know about the guy. I know that in this clip, which is really not much more than a minute long, he just straight up lies.
So why am I suspicious of this fabulous table game that's made people so much money?
Table game?
Well, first, no one knows who created it.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Table game. Is Bitcoin a game to this man?
If it's as good of a game as the stock market, I suppose. I suppose foreign exchange market.
So you're saying that stocks are a game and that it's all gambling?
No, stocks are.
Because I agree with you. Stocks are straight up gambling, in my opinion.
Stocks are ownership of a company. Company have people working for them. Bitcoin isn't a stock. Bitcoin is closer to a virtual commodity.
But it's risky still, like stock investing. I mean, even if you know things about the company, You don't know whether they're going to succeed or fail. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes it different from like casino gambling. It's not as random as betting on a roulette wheel or something like that, because at least you can tell yourself going into buying a stock, well, I've done my research. I know who runs this company, and I know what the product is, and I believe that people are going to want to buy this product in the future. Okay, I'll give you that. But it's still gambling because you have no idea whether or not it's going to go up. You may believe strongly that it does, but you could be completely wrong about what the market wants. And it could crash and you could fail. Ultimately, Bitcoin is also a bit of a gamble. Like, sure, you can look at the charts and you can see that over the history, the 9-year history of Bitcoin, overall, it's gone up. Sure, it's had its bumps in the road. No doubt about that. But every time it's crashed, it's always recovered. Now, does that mean that's always going to be the case? Of course not. Past performance is not indicative of the future of what's going to happen, right? These are basic things that I'm not an investor, but even I understand these basic concepts here. So is it a gamble? Yeah, of course. You should never invest anything you can't afford to lose. But to be afraid of Bitcoin because we don't know who created it, why does that even matter?
In this case, it doesn't.
Why not?
Well, we have the source code for it, so we can look at it. We can see what's going on. There's lots of people who have looked at the source code, looked at security issues, looked at economical aspects of it. And while the economics people tend to seem they tend to dislike it. It's certainly been looked at by a heck of a lot of people. So
that's actually going to address one of his next objections as well, too.
My experience with this is that professionals who are used to be listened to,
like Jim Cramer.
Right. Well, generally, you figured out. I mean, I had a friend who's a dentist, knowing nothing about My Magic Mud, a tooth powder that you and I have both used.
Yep, I still use it. I use the toothpaste version because it's easier.
But it's not as effective as the powder in whitening teeth. Yep, you're right. But you've used it in the past, and now you keep the paste going, and you're probably getting some effect. Anyway, presumed that this charcoalized bentonite clay or whatever the heck is in My Magic Mud was highly abrasive and therefore cleaning teeth. Like, just came right out and, made this assessment knowing nothing about the product. This happens over and over again.
I'm an expert.
People will give their opinion on stuff they know nothing about.
Right.
Jim Cramer doesn't really know anything about
Obviously.
Bitcoin.
Despite the fact that he's been spending his time and airtime attacking it on more than one occasion in the last few years. We'll give you the other 4 objections that Jim Cramer has. And who did create Bitcoin? Maybe we should talk a little bit more about that. Satoshi Nakamoto, this anonymous individual or group of individuals, space alien, who knows, the universe manifesting itself. Who did create Bitcoin? And should we ever find out, or is it better if we don't? This is Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4...
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Omega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Omega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Jim Cramer's back on television attacking Bitcoin. The host of a show on CNBC called Mad Money came out with 5 reasons why he's suspicious of Bitcoin. Apparently, he hasn't bothered to go to bitcoin.com to actually read anything about Bitcoin because he's totally, talking out his butt in this clip, which we're going to play more from you here in moments. But if you actually want to learn something about Bitcoin, rather than staying steeped in ignorance like Jim Cramer, you can go to bitcoin.com, and that's where you can learn the basics about the amazing world's first decentralized cryptocurrency and why it's important to know about. Plus, if you are new, or if you're not new to Bitcoin, if you're old school and you want to get the latest news headlines, Bitcoin.com's got them from around the globe. So you can go to news.bitcoin.com to check out their news site. If you need to pull up a quick conversion of price to U.S. dollars to Bitcoin or vice versa, I've been using tools.bitcoin.com. I used to use a different website, and I use tools.bitcoin.com now because they actually have Bitcoin Cash. And the old site I used only had Bitcoin. So now I can do either one of them there, which is pretty handy.
Convenient.
I unfortunately used it to convert what the price of the median Bitcoin transaction is today, because there's a website called earn.com that'll show you what the current median transaction is, but it only gives it to you in Satoshis. So you don't know. I mean, you can't look at a bunch of Satoshis, which is the smallest unit. Yeah. It's the smallest unit of a Bitcoin. It's like what, about
1/100 of a cent.
Well, a million Satoshis is 1 Bitcoin, basically, right? I think
it's 10 million.
Is it 10 million? Okay, I thought it was 8 decimal. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, you might be right, 10 million Satoshis, but it's very small. And so when they tell you it's 100,000 Satoshis for, the median fee to send a Bitcoin transaction, that doesn't mean much to me, so I have to go and, go to tools.bitcoin.com to look at it. Turns out the median fee today is over $17 in Bitcoin.
I spent $35.
To send a Bitcoin transaction?
That was like expedited, so it was like less than 20 minutes.
Expedited?
Yeah. But
wow,
yeah.
$35 to send a Bitcoin transaction.
Yeah. I mean,
is that your record? Is that the highest you've
I've
ever?
never spent anywhere near that before.
Yeah.
But I also selected, like 20 minutes or less basically, and it was there almost instantly. So,
Sure. That's what's happening. Is Bitcoin's it's a mess because it's full. And the transactions are maxed out, and so everybody's bidding up. If you want to get your transaction through, you can. You just got to be a high bidder.
Yeah, usually I'm the opposite, and I bid like low, and it goes through usually within several hours, and I'm satisfied. If it costs me 70 cents or something like that to send a transaction, and
I've had transactions sitting now for 2 days straight. I was trying what you did, what you normally do with the low ball, the fees.
Yeah, what'd you do? What was it? Did you set like economic or?
Well, I can customize it. I'm sending from the full node software, so I can. There's not like preset economic big or whatever.
Oh, right. On the desktop software there isn't. Right.
You just have to tell it how many satoshis per byte to send.
Yeah. What'd you pay roughly?
I paid like a third of what the median fee was.
And what was that?
I don't remember. I mean, I can pull it up for you if it really is that important. But it was
I'm curious. I thought you knew off the. I thought you.
No, it was like a third or less than what the recommended median fee was.
Okay.
So below. So that would be an economic or whatever. And it's been stuck for more than 2 days.
Okay. I've had that.
It's awful.
I've had that happen. But by like this, like I said, I think the lowest fee, if you set like nothing, it would take like a week basically.
Or they might even bounce it back because
maybe
right now the Bitcoin mempool, which is the place where all the uncleared transactions sit, I believe, is it hitting record highs now? I think
so I've heard.
Yeah, so bad news. It's amazing how Bitcoin is able to continue to rise in price, even being as broken and not as useful as it once was. But regardless, it's still a technology you need to know about because some people are getting into it. They don't care about the idea that Bitcoin at one time was an actual currency that you could really use to buy things with. It used to be like that, like a couple years ago, and now it's just something people buy and sit on in the hopes that it goes up in price. So will it go up forever? We can't predict that. Go to Bitcoin.com if you want to learn more about it. Jim Cramer says he's suspicious of Bitcoin. He's got 5 reasons why. We're going to share those with you. His first reason that he mentions, and it's a quick little video, but his first reason was that the creator of Bitcoin is anonymous. And that is actually a good thing. And the reason why is if nobody finds out who Satoshi Nakamoto is, then they can't kill him or put him or her, whoever, in a prison cell, which you better believe there would be people trying to find and hurt Satoshi Nakamoto. Even if it wasn't the government, other people might be.
Right. If you think about companies or organizations that have made it so that people can transact in certain ways, it appears as though only gun dealers are the only ones that are immune from getting sort of locked up for the results. They'll throw bartenders in jail for serving drunks. They'll do all kinds of stuff out there. So you're darn right. They'll blame Satoshi Nakamoto for money laundering and drug dealing that he didn't do.
Right.
There's even people who learn the hard way. Somebody at MIT wrote some software for basically a cryptocurrency miner in the browser, and New Jersey tried to extradite him.
Wow.
From never stepped foot in New Jersey, from what I understand. And
did they succeed?
I believe not, but
okay.
I think it eventually got
extradited from where?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
He was MIT. He was an MIT student. And,
Got it.
It wasn't, the code had never even been used. It was developed, but I don't even think it had been tested yet. And yeah, they tried to extradite him. So
let's go on with Jim Cramer's 5 reasons he doesn't trust or is suspicious of Bitcoin from CNBC.
Second, no one knows how much the creator reserved for themselves.
Well,
yeah, you do.
Yeah, there's this thing with Bitcoin. It's called a public ledger. And now anybody who actually went to Bitcoin.com or the Wikipedia article about Bitcoin would probably learn this. It's one of the most basic things that you can learn about Bitcoin is that it's based on a public ledger, which means that anyone can go and look at it. It's public, and it's a ledger, which means that you can see where everything is. You can't hide things on a public ledger. Now, it certainly is a big ledger. It's a ledger that has existed for 9 years and has a lot of Bitcoin transactions on it over time. But there are some technically adept people who can write tools to help you analyze things like big pieces of data.
Right. So what Jim Cramer says here is demonstrably false.
Yes, he's lying.
However, you can presume that Satoshi Nakamoto or whomever that is, or however many people that might be, probably mined some of the early Bitcoins.
Absolutely, he did. In fact, there are certain Bitcoins, there are certain wallets that have never been spent, right? Like never from the early days.
Do you guys remember? I know I read the statistic the other day, actually, what the number of Bitcoins were that were mined, because there was a set number that have never moved, and there was a number attached to it, I believe.
Yeah, we've heard this in the past, but offhand, I don't remember what it is.
It was just the other day too. I thought it was like 250 something.
But it wasn't anything overwhelming. It wasn't any amount that would allow Satoshi Nakamoto to sink the network sink the price if he all of a sudden cashed it all out at once. I mean, it wasn't like a detrimental amount of Bitcoin. It was a decent amount, as you would expect the founder of the currency to be able to have.
Do you guys know how many Bitcoins there are in circulation?
Over 16 million.
Okay.
Getting closer to 17 million.
16 million Bitcoin. 15 million millionaires out there. Every millionaire is going to want a Bitcoin. You're telling me this stuff's going down?
We don't know what's going to happen in the future. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, but that's a strong argument that it might go up. 855-450-3733. More of these, mostly lies from Jim Cramer coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the US or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive.
It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype into the show. Skype username is LRN.FM. Here tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Mark.
And Bitcoin isn't the only crypto on the block these days, so to speak. Digital cash, a.k.a. Dash, is making an impact, especially here in New Hampshire. I posted an article earlier today over at freekeen.com, or maybe it was I guess it was late last night. I think I finally finished that up. But anyway, no, it was today. Anyway, it was about how Dash is entering into the New Hampshire retail marketplace, because right now, as you said, Chris, you sent a Bitcoin transaction today, and you paid $35. Now, you paid a little more than maybe the
I didn't have to pay anywhere near that, but yeah. I did because I wanted it to get there really fast.
But if you were to pay the median fee, which is to say the amount that is, let's call it a little more typical, where half the transactions are higher than that amount and half of them are lower, then you would have spent $17 to send that transaction at the median level. So, I mean, that's an insane amount of fees, and it makes it so, as we announced earlier this week, the gaming platform Steam, which is the world's, I don't know if it's the largest, but it's big. I mean, it's incredibly popular as far as gaming delivery system. Like, people can order video games on this platform, and they come straight to their computer and install, so you don't have to go and, back in the old days, we used to go and grab a box off a shelf at a Best Buy or order a box through a mail, and they'd send us a disc. Well, now you don't have to do that with Steam. You used to be able, you could pay with Bitcoin, but they decided to stop accepting it. And the most disappointing part was they didn't replace it with anything. So even though Steam could have been like, well, we're going to get rid of Bitcoin, but we'll accept Dash or Bitcoin Cash, they haven't done anything else. So they just got rid of cryptocurrency.
Does anybody know what method they were using to accept it? I mean, I'm presumably they were using BitPay or something
Probably
like that.
BitPay, but I don't know.
Probably if BitPay would get on board
with adding other currencies.
I mean, they're going to start losing retailers because nobody's going to.
They've already lost every retailer that is a food retailer here in Keene, New Hampshire, because there are several businesses, as you know, in downtown Keene, New Hampshire, this little town of 20-some thousand people, where you can spend Bitcoin if you're insane. Now, those very same Bitcoin-accepting retailers are accepting Dash, and that's what part of the article is about over at freekeen.com. We can share that with you a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm glad, too, because I pay for lunch every day in Bitcoin or Dash. And
you are one of the most dedicated payers.
Well, I have switched to using Dash now that it's an option, and it's a heck of a lot better than paying 70 cents to a couple of bucks.
70 cents, you're going to get stuck for a week at this point if you try to spend 70 cents worth of Bitcoin on a transaction.
Yeah, it probably, I don't know.
And that freaks the owners out, too.
That was a couple of weeks ago it's been a couple of weeks at least since
when you lowball the fee, when you lowball the fee, the owner gets a notice from BitPay saying, uh-oh, this transaction is delayed. And then, maybe they're not as intimately familiar with how Bitcoin works as we are, and so they might start sweating like, oh my God, did I just hand out
one of the things I was doing was when I was doing that is I always was making sure it went through. And if it didn't,
you'd follow up on it.
I'd follow up on it because I wasn't, I don't want anybody to get, screwed out of money or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to have to watch a transaction to see whether or not it goes through.
No,
I may forget.
I never had a transaction not go through, so I don't know.
Really? You found you had a bounce back?
I've had transactions not go through because I was too cheap and put too small of a.
Well, the good
fee
news
on it.
is with Dash, you don't have those problems. You're looking at maybe a couple few cents maximum generally per transaction to send Dash. It's a digital money platform, and it's designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are quick and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to Dash.org and find out why. Now, Dash is entering into the marketplace here in New Hampshire. We've got it. It's heavy out in the Seacoast. It's heavy in Keene, and we're looking to expand it even further because cryptocurrency is here to stay. Whether or not Bitcoin is operable as a currency is irrelevant to the future of the idea of getting money out of the hands of banks, getting out of the hands of governments. And that's what makes people like Jim Cramer nervous. This guy on CNBC who went off today and attacked, or yesterday, I guess, on his show on CNBC, and attacked Bitcoin. He's in the background of, they've got the set in the background with like the big screen TVs with logos and things like that on them. In the background, it says, Bitcoin, the Wild, Wild West. Scary, right? The Wild West was a supposedly dangerous, scary place, and people were getting shot and killed and all that.
I'm willing to bet that the Wild Wild West, if you took several of the towns there and then looked at crime over the course of say 30 years and then compared it to, I don't know, where are we talking about? Wall Street? Let's compare it to Manhattan. And I'm willing to bet there's more crime in Manhattan per capita than there was in the Wild Wild West.
Didn't somebody do that at one point?
Yeah, it's called the Mild West, if you choose to look up the story. And I believe it was 10 times New York City. Now, that's not Manhattan. It's all 5 boroughs. But 10 times New York City per capita, and 26 times it's a 26th of Baltimore.
You know what gets me when people criticize Bitcoins is they're always criticizing Bitcoin specifically, and they're not looking at the bigger picture.
The technology?
Bitcoin is basically 1.0 of the technology.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's actually
not even.
worked.
It was 0.0.
Is it still in beta?
Yeah.
It's considering how far it's gotten us, it's actually quite surprising.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I don't know. It seems like kind of a cop out to attack Bitcoin rather than.
Well, they have to. People like Jim Cramer. These are the old money people. These are the bankers. These are the. I mean, it's every week. It's Alan Greenspan. It's Jim Cramer. It's we've gone through this laundry list of big names in the financial sectors. These guys have money in other places besides cryptocurrency, and they feel like this is a threat to them, so they have to attack the upcoming threat. But
they could just get in if they wanted to. So they really believe, to some extent, they believe this.
They could. Let's go to Vernon. He's in New Orleans listening online. Hello, Vernon.
So if I ran my own large business and I just wanted to process Bitcoin transactions myself, and I don't know anything about Bitcoin, so I'm just asking, and if I wanted to process those myself, could I just set up my own little mining operation to avoid those fees? Or is that just like ridiculously, resource dependent?
So first of all, the mining operations are the people who get the fees. So the people who are
so setting up your own won't solve that.
Well, if you set up a mining operation, then you might be able to actually get a piece of some of that. But it's hard because the mining is very, very difficult.
We're not talking about a cheap mining operation.
No,
here.
it's expensive.
You can't get a 2-year-old miner and expect to get anything out of that.
You'd have to set up a huge mining operation to make it work because the blocks. I think it's you'd have to have blocks coming at you like constantly.
Well, I mean, you can join.
Would I have to accept other people's transactions, or could I just do my own?
No. Okay, so the way that Bitcoin mining works, without getting too technical, because none of it, well, I mean, you could probably get really technical, Chris, but Mark and I were not engineers. But the way the mining works is these miners are competing around the globe to try to find what are called blocks. And the blocks are the places that the transactions that are happening on the network are stored and confirmed and basically written to that public ledger that we were talking about. That's called the blockchain. So any miner that finds a block is given what's called a block reward, which right now is 12.5 Bitcoins. And if you do the math, that's worth a lot of money. And so as you might imagine, right now Bitcoin's worth about roughly 16,000 US dollars. So 12.5 times 16,000 is what your reward basically is for finding one of these blocks. So as you might imagine, a bunch of people have put a lot of time and effort into building some very sophisticated and expensive mining operations in the hopes that they will be able to successfully find these blocks. Now, that's not to say that the individual can't get involved, because the individual can join what's called mining pools. And hang on, Vernon, we can continue to discuss here. But as far as if you're a business owner who just wants to accept Bitcoin, you don't need to get into mining. Mining's like a hobby, basically, for people in North America, because it's hard to make money at it.
Or a business in China.
Yeah, exactly. There's more coming in here. It's Free Talk Live.
Whether you share content as a curator or produce it as a creator, the source of your advertising revenue is often limited by intermediaries like YouTube. What if there was a way to connect content creators directly with advertisers, decentralizing attention-based market advertising transactions and putting the control back into the hands of content owners? Introducing the revolutionary Signal Token Protocol by Spective VR. Partnered with Blend Media, the largest network of 360 video content in the world, and featured on Fox Business's Innovations, Spective VR is a 360 VR streaming platform created to be the first use case and early adopter of the Signal Token Protocol, driving real use and allowing Spective to optimize their platform. SpectiveVR.com is hosting a pre-ICO for Signal tokens starting December 8th at a 40% bonus. For early access to the token sale and an exclusive 60% token bonus, sign up for the email list at SpectiveVR.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free. Bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. The old money people once again on the attack. I mean, it's nonstop. Normally, if you're the king of the hill, you're supposed to ignore the upstarts that are trying to displace you, right?
Right.
Well, they just can't ignore Bitcoin, can they?
What's the Gandhi saying?
First they ignore you,
then they laugh at you,
then they attack you,
and then you win.
That's right.
I think we're past the ignoring and the laughing part.
Definitely in the attacking phase, for sure. So the toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Also, don't forget, you can join us online. I was just stopping into the Free Talk Live forum over at forum.freetalklive.com. We got new signups there every single day. It's great to see people getting off of Facebook and using a useful, productive way to converse with others online. And I heard Daryl talking about the forum last night, calling it old school. No, it's actually not. It's very modern. I mean, forums are an old school concept,
yes,
but this particular forum is very modern. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, and it's fast as well. Like old school forums, when you hit post, you had to wait for the whole page to reload before you'd actually see your post show up. This one, you just hit post and your post shows up. So it's much, much smoother, very, very modern, very nice. And it's free, so go to forum.freetalklive.com and you can get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners there. I think both of you guys are also on the forum in addition to me. Your name there is Penguin, though, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Mr.
Penguin or Mr. Penguin, maybe.
Yeah, one or the other. Anyway, drop on in at forum.freetalklive.com. Vernon's on the line in New Orleans. He's new to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, but you were asking the question, Vernon, what is it like to be a business owner and accept Bitcoin? Do you have to have a mining rig? And the answer is no, not at all. Bitcoin accepting businesses or crypto business, like Dash accepting, other accepting businesses, all they have to do to accept cryptocurrencies is go and get signed up with a merchant services provider like AnyPay, and you can do that over at anypay.global. And in fact, I talk a lot about AnyPay in the most recent article I posted over at Free Keen. It is one of the newest entrants in the Bitcoin kind of processing marketplace, and they're doing an awesome job. It's actually headed up by one of our former co-hosts, Derek J. Freeman, and his talented programmer boyfriend, Steven Zeiler. So highly recommend you check that out. They make it super easy. If you've got like a point of sale at a brick and mortar style business, AnyPay is the way to go. If you've got an online business, you want to go with another option. I don't think AnyPay has anything else besides like a retail style point of sale system. Who are you using on thinkpenguin.com, Chris?
So we haven't actually moved over to anything better. So we're still on BitPay.
BitPay's a fine option for accepting.
It does work. Yeah,
online.
It does work great. You actually don't even need a wallet with BitPay because you can actually convert to US dollars if you want to. I don't know why anybody would want to.
You mean as the business owner?
Yeah. So you don't even really need to be technical, and you can kind of still ignore the ups and downs if you want.
So, Vernon, you don't need to mine at all to accept payments at your business. Did that help you understand or answer the question?
It does help. My angle is more about avoiding those transaction fees that you all keep talking about.
The best way to avoid the transaction fees is if you get one of the custodial wallets out there. The biggest one is Coinbase. So if there's a transaction that occurs within Coinbase, you won't pay the fee because Coinbase holds all your coins.
You mean if someone else has Coinbase and they send you Bitcoin on Coinbase?
That's correct.
The problem, though, with recommending Coinbase is this week they've been down quite a bit from what I understand.
They'll do that again the next time there's a bunch of activity.
Every time there's a bunch of like a flurry of action in the Bitcoin market and people are buying and selling like crazy, Coinbase just crashes. And or Mark, I think you suggested they're just flipping a switch and turning things off on purpose.
The Wall Street does that. I mean, the NASDAQ stops trading.
So I can't really recommend Coinbase generally. In fact, there was a situation where we were at one of the local places that accepts Bitcoin.
That was terrible.
And it was really embarrassing because there was a guy who was new. I mean, he wasn't new to Bitcoin. This was the funny thing. Was like this guy was experienced. Like he knew Bitcoin, but he had Coinbase. And he used Coinbase to pay his bill at this Bitcoin accepting business that we were at. And we're sitting there watching, and there's, a couple of us in line. Luckily, no one else was in the place. We have our meetups here at 2 in the afternoon specifically, so we're likely to be the only people in any given restaurant because 2 in the afternoon is after lunch hour, it's before dinner, so they're not that busy. So luckily, nobody who was a new customer that wasn't with us was waiting, and the guy hit the send button on his wallet. And the screen, the payment software was just sitting there waiting for payment. And normally when you hit send with Bitcoin or Dash or whatever, it instantly lights up or within no more than 3 to 5 seconds.
It doesn't confirm instantly, but it will show up
it shows that
was paid.
It was
that somebody initiated a transaction.
Right, but in this case it just sat there. And we're all just like, well, this is really unusual. It's somebody's internet down. Check your phone. No, he's still got internet. The tablet had internet, so neither device had lost internet. And he was certain he'd sent the Bitcoin. And ultimately, what we figured happened was Coinbase just didn't send the transaction out. He'd ordered them to, but they just hadn't gotten around to it. Maybe they were backed up with a bunch of orders, and they, sent them all out as a big batch or were just clogged or something like that. But because of that, the cashier was, she doesn't know about all this stuff. She's like, well, we need the money, dude. And so we assured them, hey, it's going to come through. I said, look, if it doesn't come through, I'll cover it. If this guy leaves before the transaction goes through, I'll just take care of it. And so later on, we finally looked at it. I don't remember if it actually had gone through or not later.
Yeah,
I think I did end up covering it or something.
No, it did end up going through. Yeah. No. I think the reason I think what they're doing is they're doing like batch processing. So they're waiting until a bunch of transactions, so they pay lower fees.
That's a problem.
And as a result, this is what happens.
So Coinbase has big problems. It's not something I recommend as either a wallet provider or for merchants.
But now that was Bitcoin now, so
that was Bitcoin.
If it was Dash, I wonder if
Coinbase doesn't have Dash.
That's true. Good point.
So you don't have that problem with them.
I had that happen once to me before actually. But
where you were waiting?
Yeah, it actually was a week before they actually sent it. But
my God.
Well, it wasn't quite the same situation. It was actually with Save at Purse. So it was when I was getting out the Bitcoin Cash from the when the fork happened, and so they were doing something similar, and I was a little surprised when it didn't.
It took too long. It took
a week. Yeah. So.
Vernon, anything else you want to share? Any other questions?
It's just amazing to me that I would possibly have to accept an IOU in order to be able to take Bitcoin, and if only they could make it as easy as swiping a credit card, and I know that it's like a 2.3% plus a 30 cents. Fee, I just can't imagine, this being attractive to customers.
Yeah.
And then the other concern I have is what happens when yes, Bitcoin continues to just fly high, but what happens when the bottom falls out? And then, and I don't even know. And I
you
could
lose
only
value.
imagine.
If
it'll
the price
go down in value, right? But the value is going to just go down tremendously. And so to businesses, it just seems like it's got to be a little bit more stable before it will be widely adopted more than just some sort of an investment.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, which is why we're going around promoting Dash to businesses, but that can be unstable. The whole cryptocurrency market is shooting up right now, and it just passed over $400 billion in global value for all cryptocurrencies combined.
I kind of feel like a lot of people's perception of it is wrong. I mean, we say it's unstable, but at the end of the day, it hasn't really... It's been fairly stable for years and years and years. Yes, it fluctuates a bit, but so does the dollar.
Do you call going from $10,000 to $16,000 in a handful of days stable?
No, I mean that's unstable in an upward direction, though.
Yeah, I mean it's the direction you want things to go.
Right.
But I mean he's right; it could go down. It did drop from 17 to 15.
The problem is even when it goes down,
or yesterday,
it ends up going back up, and you still end up, at least my experience has been, you end up doing better whether you're a merchant or you're somebody holding the
as opposed
Bitcoin.
To dollars, which are going to go down in value.
Right.
You can guarantee that.
If you look at like Canadian dollars or Australian dollars compared to U.S. dollars, well, the same thing happens. $1 Canada was on parity with the U.S. for a while, and now it's back up to 1.5 versus 1.
Or just look at the value of the dollar on its own. The U.S. dollar on its own doesn't buy today what it bought 10 years ago, what it bought 20 years ago, what it bought 30 years ago. The old example of the shopping cart. I'm sure you've seen this visualization online where it shows you what $100 would have bought you in 1970, 1980, 1990, and 2000, and the amount in the shopping cart just goes down and down and down. So you want to talk about unstable currencies, stick with the dollar and see what happens with your value.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
Vernon.
night.
I appreciate hearing from you. But he's right. Vernon is right that these are issues that the business owners face.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
uncertainty, the customers. If you're standing in line and somebody's having trouble paying with Bitcoin, that's embarrassing. There's more coming up.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving, to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap, because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,249 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,804. Antiwar.com reports that Saudi warplanes continue to pound the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a at an increased rate on Thursday, while operations on the ground appear to have shifted southwest, with pro-Saudi forces attacking coastal areas held by the Shiite Houthi movement. Reports out of the Quqqa district on the Red Sea coast of Yemen say that pro-Saudi forces have more or less entirely captured the area, which includes a town and a small fishing port. At least 25 were killed in the fighting. The district itself is of limited value, but the push is in keeping with Saudi-led efforts to conquer as much of the Yemeni coast as possible to ensure that shipments of food and medicine into the country are done more or less exclusively under their control. Fishing ports notwithstanding, the Houthi movement has only a single port at Hodeidah, which would need food and medicine imports for 15 million people in northern Yemen. A Saudi blockade, however, allows a tiny fraction of that in. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Congress passed a short-term spending bill Thursday to prevent a government shutdown as Republicans attempt to reach a budget bill with Democrats by the end of the year. Senators approved the bill by a vote of 81-14 an hour after the House passed it on a vote of 235-193, keeping the federal government open through December 22nd. Representative Mike Simpson of Idaho said a vote against the resolution is a vote to shut down the government, while admitting a short-term funding measure is not ideal. President Donald Trump met with Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer of New York in hopes of pushing forward negotiations on a 2-year budget deal. Pelosi and other Democrats have stressed including deportation relief for Dreamers, recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program, in their negotiations. She said, "We will not leave here without a DACA fix." Trump was expected to encourage congressional leaders to keep anything related to DACA out of a budget negotiation while pushing to increase defense spending without boosting non-defense funding and convince Democrats to agree to his border wall. Trump said, "We hope that we're going to make some great progress for our country. I think this will happen." 2 Florida Republicans said they would vote against any year-end spending bill that did not include an immigration deal. Schumer said those demands were unlikely and a shutdown would reflect poorly on Trump and Republicans. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday sentenced Larry Nassar, the former USA Gymnastics team doctor accused of sexually assaulting gymnasts, to 60 years in prison on federal child porn charges that grew out of a sex abuse investigation. U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids, Michigan, handed down the sentence sought by prosecutors who said there was a link between Nassar's child pornography and his prolific molestation of children, according to court documents. Neff said he has demonstrated that he should never again have access to children. Nassar's attorney, Matt Newberg, said he was devastated and remorseful. Nassar pled guilty in July to possessing thousands of images and video of child pornography depicting children as young as infants between 2003 and 2016. Nassar is also set to be sentenced in January in Michigan courts after pleading guilty to additional counts of criminal sexual conduct related to allegations he assaulted girls under the guise of medical treatment. At that hearing, all of the more than 120 victims or their parents will be allowed to give impact statements. Nassar is likely to spend the remainder of his life in prison. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's The Onion Radio News. Hager physicists have created quantum slacks. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The stunning announcement that a team of Hager physicists has successfully developed quantum slacks was made this morning at a press conference in Philadelphia. According to Dr. Daniel Chang, head of the Hager team, conventional notions about the physical properties and possibilities of slacks have been turned on their heads.
We are on the verge of unzipping the secrets of creation and peering into the pants of God himself. It appears the very fabric of the universe may well be a smart cotton twill weave.
However, Chang urged caution in further research after tests conducted last month at the Hager Pants Propulsion Collider Laboratory in Dallas suggested the possible existence of so-called anti-pants, which could, in theory, initiate a chain reaction resulting in no pants at all. Doyle Redland for The Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is The Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. You can join us on the radio here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE if you'd like to join us. 855-450-3733. We're sort of off and on talking about Jim Cramer. He's a money talk host guy on CNBC. He has been on the attack on Bitcoin, and he's back at it again, just trotting out some just terrible lies about the world's most popular and successful cryptocurrency. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And Mark.
We'll continue. I think we got through 2 out of his 5 lies about Bitcoin here. Let's go first, though, to your calls and thoughts. Reginald is on the line in Pittsburgh. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Reginald. I don't think that's Reginald. Thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. As we continue here, Jim Cramer says he's suspicious of Bitcoin. His first 2 reasons were that the creator is anonymous. The second reason he claims is that you don't know how much Bitcoin the creator has. And I don't know if we ever finished explaining that. Well, first of all, it's a public ledger, so you can go and at least try to figure out how much Bitcoin the creator has. If you look at some of the oldest wallets, you could presume that the creator of Bitcoin probably has access to those. Many of those haven't been touched, but they don't have like billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in them. It's just...
Would it matter, though? If Satoshi Nakamoto had pre-mined 10,000 Bitcoins, and this is demonstrably false, okay? Like, this isn't a mistake. This is either really bad reporting or just a smear.
Yeah.
But if Satoshi Nakamoto had pre-mined 10,000 Bitcoins, would it make Bitcoin a lesser invention? And I say no. I mean, Bitcoin's fine the way it is, and it wouldn't make a difference if Satoshi Nakamoto got 10,000 pre-mined Bitcoins in the process. Now,
what if you had 1 million of them?
What difference did it make?
Well, I guess the big fear is because some people have claimed this about Dash. They said that Dash had a big pre-mine, and supposedly somebody had said that had happened, but they claimed that they were going to like give it away. And I don't know if they ever did or not, but this is one of the big objections to Dash, is that there was this pre-mine which the creator of Dash has access to, and the big fear is that that person is engaging in what they call a pump and dump scheme, where
for Dash,
that's what the claim is.
And they're darn rich at this point. We're beyond pump and dump.
So that's what was my question is. Well, I mean, if this is a con, it's a pretty long con. I mean, for somebody to be pumping something for 3 or 4 years straight, only to then sell it all. The idea, Mark, is that they would sell it all at once and essentially tank the price of whatever the thing was.
I suppose they could.
I'm looking here, and this is not probably accurate, but I'm looking at 50 Bitcoins, and I thought it was more than that, actually.
You're saying that's what the creator has?
If that's correct, which I don't think it is, but
some are claiming it's 1 million. Some are claiming he has 1 million.
Okay.
I mean, just if you search for how many Bitcoins does Satoshi have, and I don't know how they came up with that number, but that's the claim, which would mean that he has 1/16 of all of the Bitcoins that exist. But nobody even knows if Satoshi Nakamoto's alive.
This might be in relation to what were pre-mined as opposed to mined maybe immediately after.
Right. So
I'm not entirely
sure. From 2000 to we got into Bitcoin when it was at 27 cents in 2011. I can't remember when the pizza thing occurred, but that would have been in sometime in late 2010.
It was early 2010.
So they're early 2010.
I think it was like March or May or something like that.
Great. So you're talking about, since it was January 1st of 2009, then there were, call it a year and a half of Bitcoin mining that occurred where Bitcoin was worth nothing. There was no price for Bitcoin. Then Bitcoin had a price once somebody said, I'll take 2 pizzas and for 10,000 Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah, sure. And so that happens, what you call early to mid 2010. By 2011 in January, it was 27 cents when Free Talk Live had its historic meeting with Gavin Andreessen, the then head developer of Bitcoin, and it's gone up and down, it's had its bumps, and it's had its bumpy little path upward since then. So if Satoshi Nakamoto and a handful of other people from the cryptographic forums on which it was premiered mined Bitcoin before it had a value prior to, say, early to mid 2010, if you want to call that a pre-mine, then okay, it's not, because it was premiered on January 21st so that everybody can start. And sure, Satoshi Nakamoto participated, the people that are Satoshi Nakamoto, because it was very likely a group, not a person.
We have no idea.
Yeah, we do have an idea. They mined it, and
yeah, but how do you know if it's a group as opposed to one person?
There was one guy going as, on mailing lists. He had an email address and everything, so there was at least one person representing himself as that.
Well, yeah, we know there's at least one.
Whether or not
Satoshi
there was
Nakamoto.
other people behind him, like a government.
There's a theory that there could be more than one person, but I don't know how you would prove that theory.
There still was one person.
Yeah, of course.
Well, technically, I guess you could have multiple people representing themselves under one email address, but it seems unlikely.
Well, we don't know. I mean, who knows what's likely or what's not likely with
an anonymous there was communications on a mailing list and stuff going on. I mean,
sure, but it could be that one person was the communicator and the others were just programmers, right?
Right.
So who knows? Because there was a supposed writing style that Satoshi had, so maybe that one person was the writer and the others were just backing the.
Yeah, I mean that seems more likely.
But there's a lengthy article.
That's still
here.
One person, right? I mean, even if you had a group backing him up.
I didn't say there wasn't one person. I'm not sure why anyone would think Satoshi Nakamoto didn't exist at all. There was at least one person who was Satoshi Nakamoto. But there's an article from back in 2013 where a researcher named Sergio, I don't know his last name, but he actually went and analyzed the blockchain, and he believes that Satoshi has 1 million Bitcoins. But again, whether he's got 50 Bitcoins or 1 million Bitcoins, either way,
that's still
he created
a fraction of the Bitcoins that exist now.
It's a good fraction. I mean, 1/16 is still a good chunk of coin. But most of those original Bitcoins have never been moved, and some theories say Satoshi Nakamoto is dead. If it was one person, there's a theory that one of the people who might have been Satoshi was very, very ill and has passed away.
Right. There are articles back in, I don't remember, 2014 or something about this guy that...
it's been a decade almost.
Yeah, and there's a good chance that he might have been in on it in some way, shape, or form. He's dead. Those coins haven't moved, and... At this point, we have no evidence that those coins will ever move.
Right. If Satoshi Nakamoto was just one person, because if it was more than one person, then presumably more than one person has the keys to those coins. But if it was just one person and he's the only one who had access to the keys and he never gave a wife or a child or something like that access to his keys, then that 1 million Bitcoins, it's gone forever. No one can ever access that, because if you lose your private key to your Bitcoins, you're done for. You can't get it back.
I'm not even sure if it matters in the sense that even if he did have 1 million Bitcoins, and that's a lot of money, I mean, there is some value that was introduced by, whoever it was or whatever group, put Bitcoin together, from a technological standpoint. I mean, that has value in my mind. So
let's go on with Jim Cramer's objections. These are the things he says make him suspicious of Bitcoin.
For all we know, there are tons of these things sitting on the sidelines somewhere. Third, there's virtually no transparency.
No. You do know how many Bitcoins there are sitting out there because it's a public ledger. And here he goes claiming there's no transparency.
Transparency into the underlying system, none whatsoever.
That is just a lie. That is a lie, Jim Cramer.
So transparent. I'll tell you what's not transparent, James.
The Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Mr. and Mrs. America, listening to me across the fruited plains. How is money created?
It's never been audited, right?
We know that the government creates money, right? We know they create it out of thin air because it's not backed by anything.
Right.
Unless you want to say the good faith and credit of the United States
No, it's
taxpayer.
backed by gold in the Federal Reserve, right?
Nope. But Fort Knox, nope. It's not backed by that. So how is money introduced into the marketplace?
They increment numbers in a computer.
Which
or
computer?
Print it.
What
the Federal Reserve.
It in a computer? Which computer?
The Federal Reserve. They've got computers.
I have a computer too.
No.
Why aren't they incrementing it in my computer?
Because you're not the Federal Reserve.
What do you mean when they say they increment it in a computer?
They print out money either physically or they put numbers.
How does it get into how does it circulate? This is the transparency I'm talking about.
Through the banks.
Nobody knows.
Right. Exactly.
It's loaned into existence, and there's a few other ways that it occurs. But it took a long time for me to sort of figure that out, and I'm still not entirely clear on how money is created, and neither is anybody who's listening to me. And then this jackhole is talking about there's no transparency in Bitcoin.
We'll continue with more in moments on Free Talk Live.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic at Dinovite.
This year, whenever you order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog, we'll send you a free sample of one of the other doggy things we make.
Like Liquid Chops, Super Mega Fish Oil, or Doggo Suds Shampoo.
What's on your dog's wish list?
We'll offer a different freebie each week at Dinovite.com.
Don't you just love the sound of healthy, happy dogs?
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live. Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card, and the sign-up bonus, enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio here and take control of the airwaves at 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Mark.
As we continue with just 5, I don't know if all 5 of them are lies. I didn't actually listen to the whole list. I listened to the first couple, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. This guy's just lying about Bitcoin. Jim Cramer, the host of a show called Mad Money, And in this case, this guy is either completely ignorant or is purposefully lying.
There's so many legitimate concerns out there. Like, there's enough of them that like he doesn't even need to like lie like this.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, Bitcoin does have problems.
Yeah.
But it's not what he's talking about.
Right.
I mean, he just finished claiming that Bitcoin was not transparent. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom, and want you to know about the Blink Home Security System. Mark, you were the first one of the co-hosts here on Free Talk Live to receive the Blink Home Security System. You spent about, 10 minutes getting this thing up and rolling?
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all.
It is so easy. As long as you've got a Wi-Fi device.
And it just keeps working. I don't have to do much to this thing to make it work. Sometimes I tweak the hours that I want the camera to come on and that sort of thing.
At some point, we're going to have to replace the batteries in the cams, but I don't know how long that's going to be. Really?
Up to 2 years,
2 years. Now, it depends on how long of a clip do you want. So you can configure.
And how often does it go off?
Right. So, you can configure. Do you want a 5-second clip? Do you want a 30, 15, whatever? You decide how long, if its motion sensor goes off, how long does it clip the video and send that to you so you can see what's going on.
If you've got it in your shed or something to keep an eye on your lawnmower, for instance, and you go in there once every 3 weeks during the summertime.
It's going to last a long time.
Yeah, it's going to last a long time. Cold weather will deplete a battery, though.
That's true. You go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. They even include the batteries in this, so you don't have to worry about that. There's only one wire in the entire system, and that's the powered plug for the hub, which the cameras interact with. Otherwise, the cameras themselves are wireless, and it's a super fast setup. No drilling holes and running wires or setting up confusing DVRs. Made in China. You just go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, and you can get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys are going to charge you for 1 security camera. Blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. And then when the notices come, they come right to your smart device, again, your phone, your tablet, and that's all you need to get it set up and rolling in the first place. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Back to Jim Cramer, who's claiming that Bitcoin is not transparent. Let me just play his claim here.
Things sitting on the sidelines somewhere. Third, there's virtually no transparency into the underlying system, none whatsoever.
That is a lie, sir. The entire Bitcoin system is as transparent as it could possibly be.
It's the whole reason that I like Bitcoins and I like cryptocurrency.
You're a big open source guy.
I am. And there's a lot of cryptocurrencies I don't want to touch or tools surrounding it that I won't touch because they're not transparent.
Right.
The
you
source
want to see the
code's not
code.
available. Right.
You want to be able to audit. You are a programmer, so you could go in and you can look at the code and you can see, is there a backdoor in here? Is the programmer, the original Satoshi Nakamoto, have some sort of hack where he can, come in with a master key and unlock everybody's Bitcoin? The answer is no.
No, exactly. And it's not just programmers. There's security people who have analyzed the code for, explicitly for vulnerabilities and
audits.
And
it can be audited anytime.
Exactly. And it's not, you don't have to trust a particular auditor or a particular programmer.
You can take the code, compile it yourself, because you could, if you were really concerned, you wouldn't necessarily know if they had put in a backdoor into the executable program, right? Like, if they'd taken the open source code, modified it, put in a backdoor, and put that into the executable.
That's a good question. It depends. There is something, deterministic builds, they're called.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're doing deterministic builds, but if they are, then you can actually determine, you can build it yourself and compare it.
And do a hash on the one that you build and the one they build.
So you can actually confirm that the binary that you've got, the program that you're running, is the same as the code that you've compiled.
Right. And given the value of the system, the billions of dollars, right now, what is Bitcoin worth? You go to coinmarketcap.com. I think it was at like $285 billion for Bitcoin as far as its total global valuation at the moment. With that kind of money in the system, you better believe there are multiple people who have validated, have checked, have gone in there and audited this code. This is, even if the code isn't perfect, it's transparent.
It wouldn't have lasted this long if
it
wouldn't
have traded this high.
Right. Yeah, it's just this is the kind of thing. This is going to be attacked more than anything else. This is what they're going to attack if it's going to get attacked.
So the whole system's transparent. The code itself is transparent. Anyone can check it. Anybody can compile it. Anyone can copy it. Anyone can modify it and make their own, version of this.
And the tools around it are what's going to end up being attacked because they're not as well audited. They're not as well
like an exchange. Or
an exchange.
Like
that's when you hear about hacking in Bitcoins. It's it's not the core software itself.
Right.
It's
not the currency.
It's core security surrounding it.
Correct.
On certain implementations by certain companies and entities.
Yeah, if somebody tells you they lost their Bitcoin wallet, well, they may have lost their Bitcoin wallet. It had nothing to do with the Bitcoin being a failure. And again, as we pointed out before, the transactions themselves are also transparent. So not only is the software transparent, but the entire blockchain is public. Now, some people say that's a bad thing because they want privacy with their transactions.
That's definitely a weakness, I would say. I want transparency, but I also don't want people to be able to know what I spent and who I spent it with and so on.
But as far as Cramer's objection goes, if he wants transparency, you got that in spades with Bitcoin. So let's go on here. That was his third objection.
Fourth, there's no government backing, obviously. There are no underlying assets backing it up.
There's no government backing. Well, that is why people like Bitcoin. There's a lot of people who don't want the government involved with their money.
Yeah.
That's a perk.
Just think about how much the dollar's been devalued since 1913 when the Federal Reserve created the Federal Reserve Note.
Right.
And I want to ask you...
That wasn't a silver certificate back then?
There were times...
It became a Federal Reserve Note later when they took the silver away.
I don't know that they were always silver certificates. There were silver certificates, certainly. But look, go ahead and do your mileage may vary. Most of the devaluation occurred in after the early 70s with the Bretton Woods Accords and the decoupling of gold from gold from the dollar, and that's when most of it occurred. And you remember the long gas lines and all that stuff during the crisis. But nonetheless, government and currency isn't just not necessarily an indication of a good thing. It is an indication of a bad thing.
Absolutely.
Government currency. When those words go together,
it's a history. I mean, not just the U.S. government, but government currency, fiat currency, is a history of debasement. It's a history of dishonesty and fraud.
The one thing you don't want to do is hold dollars. You want to invest dollars into something else.
Right.
And anybody who makes money, anybody who's wealthy, they don't hold their assets in dollars or any hard currencies. They hold them. I mean, maybe some, but that's I'm trying to think what they call it. But that's not something you generally want to do because it's not something that's gaining value, right?
So print more of it.
Yeah. So it's actually good to now. You also want to diversify because when you invest in something, there's a chance it's going to go down in value. Bitcoin has been one of the best returns on investments here the last couple of years.
Sure has the best. Period.
It is risky, so it could also go down at some point. But most of us who have actually had Bitcoins and held it have actually done very well. So
we're going to get back into Jim Cramer's final objection. He's got 5 reasons why he's suspicious of Bitcoin, and so far I think all of them have been lies. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, which makes me suspicious of Jim Cramer.
Yeah.
855-450-3733. You can also join us in Skype. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. There's more Free Talk Live on the way.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you retired or facing retirement and you're afraid your income is going to be less than you'd like? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and I want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business working around your current schedule, creating extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
Free Talk Live.
I wanted to ask your listeners about the religion and the people who practice Wicca. What do they think their agenda is? Is it to take over the world? Or?
Oh, no. No, I don't think so.
I mean, because they're somewhat of bullies.
They're bullies? What do you mean?
They bully with the religion themselves. A lot of people are afraid of them.
Can you give me an example?
The Tea Party.
The Tea Party has to do with Wicca?
Well, it's mostly because they're so secretive.
So
the Wiccans.
The Wiccans are secretive, and they have a lot of numbers, and they've infiltrated the Tea Party?
Well, they use them, like, for instance, the breakdown of Obamacare. That could very well have been the Wiccans using their power to break down the computers.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free and join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we do have Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm. And with you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And Mark.
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. One of our favorite topics these days is the cryptocurrency world, because Bitcoin has been a part of Free Talk Live for several years now at this point, and so we tend to follow it very closely. And right now, it's at record highs. Within the last 48 hours, it eclipsed $17,000 per Bitcoin. Like a week ago, it was at $10,000 per Bitcoin. A month ago, it was $6,000. It's just been an amazing ride over the last year, and we, as a result of all of its success, it's been getting, of course, attacked by people in the mainstream media like Jim Cramer, who has 5 reasons why he says he's suspicious about Bitcoins. And we've been going through this list so far here tonight on Free Talk Live, and basically they've all been straight up lies. He's claimed that that the Bitcoin is not transparent when it's actually in fact completely transparent, unlike the Federal Reserve System. The code is available publicly. The transactions are available publicly on a public ledger. Just because the anonymous creator is unknown, that doesn't mean the system itself isn't sound. In fact, it's very sound, and it works at what it says it's going to do. Unfortunately, as you were saying, Chris, Bitcoin does have some problems, but that's not what he's talking about here. Bitcoin's problem is that it's too damn popular and has gotten full of transactions.
This is nothing but fear-mongering here.
Yeah, and those transactions maxed out the system, which means that you have to pay through the nose if you actually want to spend Bitcoin. So that's the problem with Bitcoin. But despite that, people are still pouring money into this system. We'll continue. You can talk about what you want here. coming up in about 2 months from now, so it's going to be here sooner rather than later, sooner than you think. Anarchapulco is back for year number 4. For me, it's going to be my second visit to Acapulco, Mexico, and Anarchapulco. It's at a different location this year than it was last year. This year it's going to be at the Princess Resort, which is just, I've seen the pictures. It's a beautiful location. I think I actually went there on one of their beach bus tour things that they did last year. So if you wanted to go
you did it without me.
Yes, that's right. I went with Renee, who was accompanying me on the trip at that time. But the resort we were at last year wasn't actually on the beach. You had to like take a bus for 20 minutes to get to the beach. I think this is the one that is actually on the beach. So it should be an even nicer location, even though the last one was
What was the turnout
nice.
last year on it?
Several hundred, I would say. I don't know the exact number, but I would say probably at minimum 400 to 500 people. So
okay.
Very, very good. Very well-attended libertarian convention. But they've got more than just libertarian speakers. They've got some great speakers, there's no doubt about it. G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, Bruce Fenton, Julia Taransky, Brett Venot is going to be there this year. Lots of our listeners, big fans of Brett Venot. So come on out and meet him in real life.
Brett's a big fan of us, so there you go.
Dana Martin, Juan Galtz, Adam Kokesh, Kerry Wedler, Vit Yedlika, Sterling Lujan. You spelled his name wrong, Mark, so I mispronounced it the other night when I read it, so I apologize to Sterling. Sterling Lujan will be there, and also live music from Jordan Page, Backwards, Rob Hustle, and more. You can go and get your tickets over at anarchapulco.com. It's February 15th through the 18th. And there are other things that are going to be going on those days, including Cryptopulco, which will be in the final day of the event. Your tickets to the event include a ticket to Cryptopulco, but the other ones like the Health and Wellness Retreat, which you say, Mark, you're probably going to be attending, Change Media University with Luke Grodowski, those are extra. So there's the basic ticket price, and then if you want the extras, you can do that too. Code FTL when you go and get your tickets will get you 10% off. Mark, you did determine that it was the regular ticket price for Anarchapulco. You will get 10% off if you use code FTL.
Or the combo ticket.
Or the combo ticket, which is only good for the combo of what?
The health and wellness and the regular ticket.
Got it. So you get 10% off with code FTL on those things over at anarchapulco.com. As we continue here, more with Jim Cramer, who is basically a shill for the big media, big bank establishment coming out attacking Bitcoin. Here's his final objection, why he says he's suspicious of the cryptocurrency. We're going to get, actually, we'll get back into that coming up here, but let's go first to Ricky in the Commonwealth. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, you got to talk in your microphone. We can't hear you. You're going to have to talk in your microphone going once, going twice. Hello?
Yo, yo, yo.
There you go.
I've been here, brother. How you doing there?
You're on the radio. Go ahead with your thoughts, Ricky.
Wonderful. You know, I know you guys are all the way up there in New Hampshire, you know? And I was out all last night. Things are real wacky up here. I swear I was in Virginia today. You know, I go to the bank over at the credit union, people talking with southern accents. It's kind of wacky.
I don't really know if that happens that often, but I suppose it could happen in Pennsylvania, people talking in southern accents.
Well, I believe in the spirit, and, you know, I've become very popular now. I know I'm not supposed to talk about anything ever said, but, you know, I think some people are very mad at me. You know who I think mad at me?
The people of the credit union?
Federalists.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I noticed August something was following me, and that's all right. I'm going to follow him back. Now, I will say...
A Federalist was following you?
Well, I did hear something mumbled in some crosstalk one night, and I'm not going to get banned on this, Ian, now. Come on. Because somebody said something now, and I will say...
I don't know what the hell you're talking about at this point. I am completely in the dark. You're rambling on about Federalists and the credit union, people following you. Are you being gang stalked?
No, but is anybody following you that might be from the Fed?
I have no idea, honestly. I don't look over my shoulder all the time. I'm not
Are you
paranoid.
being held hostage and this is some kind of cryptic message?
No.
Nod your head.
Hey, my pictures are coming, brother Mark.
Pictures? What kind of pictures? Are they nude?
No, his for the Shrine of Chronic Colors.
Brother Ian, I'm disappointed in you, man. You're always with a nice young girl, and now you're off with Ricky from the Commonwealth. I know I'm loved, but I don't love that much.
Is that your fantasy that I'm going to get with you?
Absolutely not. You're
not my type, brother. Sorry. I don't think you're Chris's type either.
I'm sorry. Not my type either, yeah.
New toy I want to tell you about, though. I got my gun come in.
Yeah, what kind of gun?
The kind to shoot Ian with when he comes stalking him.
I'm not going to be stalking Ricky.
Well, no. See, my answer is I like practicality. It's an 1873 Cattleman Uberti, 7.5-inch, 45 caliber, open
1873,
chamber.
Mark. Is that legal for you to possess?
If it's a smooth bore, Cattleman. Is it a black powder?
You could put black powder in the cartridges. Does that count?
So there's cartridges?
So no.
Yes.
So Mark couldn't have that.
Okay. Well, okay. I got my own story on that, but I'll tell you a little more about it. It's actually beautiful because it's got a broken safety.
It's got
a broken safety.
Yes, it's got the COLT, just like the real one. It rests right.
It's going to shoot you. It's going to get infected. And you're going to die.
Yes, it rests.
It's going to blow your parts off.
Pin rests right on a live round. Like the real ones.
Well, you be careful there, Ricky, and thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The final point from Jim Cramer.
And there's no military support for the Bitcoin system, unlike real currencies.
Did he just say there's no military support?
Right, from a country. Remember, he was complaining about it not being backed by a nation, and the suggestion is that money needs
a
military backing.
Wow,
but I would ask you about this. Costa Rica has no military.
That's right.
What is its money backed by?
Well, they use the dollar.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's backed by the U.S. military. Right. Then there are plenty of places that don't have, that aren't using their military to back their money. Where did this notion come from?
I don't know. That's a new one to me. So I don't think that's actually his fifth objection because there's a little bit more here. So we'll share that with you. Coming up, our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And we've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. More Free Talk Live in moments.
Whether you share content as a curator or produce it as a creator, the source of your advertising revenue is often limited by intermediaries like YouTube. What if there was a way to connect content creators directly with advertisers, decentralizing attention-based market advertising transactions and putting the control back into the hands of content owners? Introducing the revolutionary Signal Token Protocol by Spective VR. Partnered with Blend Media, the largest network of 360 video content in the world, and featured on Fox Business's Innovations, Spective VR is a 360 VR streaming platform created to be the first use case and early adopter of the Signal Token Protocol, driving real use and allowing Spective to optimize their platform. SpectiveVR.com is hosting a pre-ICO for Signal tokens starting December 8th at a 40% bonus. For early access to the token sale and an exclusive 60% token bonus, sign up for the email list at SpectiveVR.com.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram.com. That's Pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at Pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving, to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap, because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Really forget. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for? You're being served. What is this? You're being served. What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you may join us right here. Just dial in toll-free to bring up whatever is on your mind at 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got a website. It's got a lot of great features on it. If you support the show and you want to help back Free Talk Live, help us get the ideas of liberty and cryptocurrency and peace on as many radio stations as possible and into ears on the internet, then please help us with the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's $5 a month, or if you want to, you can send Bitcoin, but these days not many people are sending Bitcoin due to the insane costs, although somebody did within the last month send us some Bitcoin, because you can actually pre-purchase months with Bitcoin. In fact, that's the way you have to do it, because we can't automatically bill you, because Bitcoin, unlike credit cards, doesn't allow for somebody else to pull a payment from you. With Bitcoin, you have to send the payment. So with the AMP program, normally with like credit card or PayPal, we just pull. You've authorized us to, so we pull from per month. But with Bitcoin, you can actually say you want 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. You can buy in advance the amount of AMP that you want to do. And so go to amp.freetalklive.com. You get signed up there. You can get some cool perks that give you access to special things that the average listener doesn't have, like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group. You get a special AMP badge on your username over at freetalklive.com's forum at forum.freetalklive.com. So go to amp.freetalklive.com to get signed up. Again, that's amp.freetalklive.com. We're back with the final objection from Jim Cramer on his supposed 5 reasons for being suspicious of Bitcoin, which so far have just been full of fraudulent claims. Let's continue here.
Obviously, there are no underlying assets backing it up, and there's no military support for the Bitcoin system, unlike real currencies. Fifth, despite the allegiance its buyers swear to a blockchain, another great buzzword, the secret way to...
blockchain's just a buzzword, folks. Don't pay any attention to what the technology actually is behind
It's not the most formative technology introduced in the last decade.
No, it's not being actually adopted by many of the very banks he's shilling for behind the scenes. No, don't pay no attention to the technology behind the curtain here of Bitcoin, which is blockchain, the public ledger that is immutable and decentralized and distributed across thousands of locations around the world, which basically means that fraud is impossible with Bitcoin, unlike with your Federal Reserve System, which is basically built on fraud. So, yeah. Let's continue.
Buzzword. The secret way to transact, the secure way to transact this with blockchain. At the end of the day, you know what this is? It's software. And what do we know about software? All software can be hacked.
Where do you start? Where do you start?
Well, yeah.
If Bitcoin could be hacked, why hasn't it been hacked?
That's where that would be the first question that one would ask.
Yeah. Now, I did just see a headline, I don't know if it's true, I didn't look at the story, claiming that there's a new Intel quantum computer which could crack Bitcoin. Now, maybe we will see the day when Bitcoin's cryptographic security is breakable. And who knows how soon in the future that day will come. But as far as right now is concerned, as far as the last 9 years of Bitcoin, if Bitcoin software could be hacked, somebody would have done it by now.
This is like saying that you shouldn't use encryption because someday it might be broken.
Right.
Right. So this was convincing to me, and I probably saw this image in 2012, but I'm going to read it now for those that either didn't hear it back then or didn't find it motivating at that time. But for me, this was hugely motivating. And this is the stuff down the throat of Jim Cramer and his nonsense, his hit piece here. I'm reading. Imagine you built a perfect computer. Forget about G-hash and megahertz. You built a computer which used the absolute minimum amount of energy theoretically possible to record a change in a single digit. So 1 to 0, 0 to 1. We're talking about the limits of thermodynamics. Nothing more efficient is even possible. Now you imagine you use the most of the natural resources that our star system has to construct a Dyson sphere. And you can cover the entire surface of this sphere, the single star system-sized supercomputer. So you've created a supercomputer that surrounds the sun. Now imagine you could keep this supercomputer cooled at roughly absolute zero and could do so without expending any energy to do so. And if you had that and you captured with no inefficiency and no loss the entire energy output of our star, not just a day or a week, but continually until it burned out, you could not count to 2 to the 256th power before you ran out of energy. Keep this in mind. This is simply counting, just counting, not hashing, not comparing, not performing lookups, just counting. 1, 2, 3, 2 to the 56th minus 1, 2 to the 256th. These numbers have nothing to do with the technology of devices. They are the maximums that thermodynamics will allow, and they strongly imply that brute force attacks against a 256-bit key encryption will be unfeasible until computers are built from something other than matter and occupy something other than space.
We're ways off from
Bitcoin, your money is secured by the laws of the universe and not Jim Bald Butt Cramer, okay? Like, this guy, I had respect for him in his field because I didn't pay that much attention to him. I mean, he's risen to the top of his field. The things he has said here are just utterly stupid and should not be uttered by a financial expert.
Yeah, well, just because somebody's on a television show or behind a microphone doesn't make him an expert.
I don't know. His producers allowed him to go on with this?
It's funny. Smart people can say stupid things, too, and when they do, you should ignore them.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, smart people are only smart as the stuff that's coming, the information that they get. I can't it's hard for me to imagine that he is this uninformed. No, Bitcoin cannot be hacked. No, correct. Jim Cramer, Bitcoin cannot be hacked.
If it could, it would have been because the prize is huge. I mean,
it's tremendous.
Hackers want to go after something worthwhile, right? You don't want to waste your time with something that's not worth, the risk of prison over. So, you want to accomplish something with your hack. And if you could hack Bitcoin, you would have access to tremendous wealth. So there's plenty of incentive to do it.
Sure. The easy thing to do would be to place a short sell order, hack Bitcoin, show that you've hacked it, and then watch the Bitcoin price plummet. Wham! You're on a beach in Tahiti, surrounded by women with Learjets and limos for the rest of your life. But no, Jim Cramer said on his TV show that it's hackable.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So let's go to the phones here. Ralph, I gave you a warning last time you called in. I'm going to warn you now in advance of your call that if you call about the same exact thing over and over again, you're going to be banned from Free Talk Live.
It's not the same.
And the same thing you always call about is racism against black people. So go ahead. What do you have to call about tonight?
And these 10-point demands put out by the Black Lives Matter, BLM. I have some other term for that, BLM, okay? And I'll say that in a few seconds. These are not racist, demands, right? This is more like an extortion scheme on their part. You can read that online. The 10 points demand.
What is it? What is this 10 points? Who did they deliver it to?
to the white people, of course.
To the white people.
That's right. And you know.
When did this happen?
The issue of slavery. This happened a while ago.
Okay, so this is old news. Go ahead.
Yeah. And this is more like a taking America hostage. It's an extortion scheme. As you very well know, El Negro Caper has made a fool of himself once again by calling President Trump a Hitler. Calling President Trump a Hitler.
Who is El Negro Caper?
Yeah, well, you know.
Can you use real names? Because we don't know who that is.
That's Obama.
Oh, Barack Obama. He said what?
Yes.
Barack Obama said what?
He is. I think this was in a speech in Chicago where he made reference to President Trump as like Hitler.
Uh-huh.
He definitely was reflecting upon himself, in my opinion.
You're saying he was projecting?
You know,
You're saying Barack Obama was projecting?
Right.
Isn't Barack Obama pretty much like Donald Trump? Like, they're both very similar.
Like a wild joker.
They're both presidents.
Like a wild joker.
They both bombed innocent people around the globe in the Middle East.
Why don't I'm not seriously. If he wants to be useful to society, why don't he deal with the issue of black criminality, which is driving black, animal, and wild? Why don't he do that? Huh? If he wants to be useful to society.
What is Barack Obama supposed to do about people committing crimes?
Well, he needs to tell them, you know.
Tell them.
You are becoming a burden. Right?
He's going to tell them, meaning tell who?
The black people?
Tell the black people.
Tell all black people.
You know, you have a situation here. You didn't.
Should we ban Ralph from the show or not?
I don't know. It's just rambling nonsense. I mean, if I wanted to stop white crime today, how would I go about doing it?
Apparently, you just tell all white people.
Right. Hey, white people, stop committing crimes.
Yeah, there you go.
No violence against your neighbors and stuff.
I'm pretty sure Barack Obama, has said crime is something he's against.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,249 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,804. Antiwar.com reports Saudi warplanes continue to pound the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a at an increased rate on Thursday, while operations on the ground appear to have shifted southwest, with pro-Saudi forces attacking coastal areas held by the Shiite Houthi movement. Reports out of the Kukat district on the Red Sea coast of Yemen say that pro-Saudi forces have more or less entirely captured the area, which includes a town and a small fishing port. At least 25 were killed in the fighting. The district itself is of limited value, but the push is in keeping with Saudi-led efforts to conquer as much of the Yemeni coast as possible to ensure that shipments of food and medicine into the country are done more or less exclusively under their control. Fishing ports notwithstanding, the Houthi movement has only a single port at Hodeidah, which would need food and medicine imports for 15 million people in northern Yemen. A Saudi blockade, however, allows a tiny fraction of that in. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Congress passed a short-term spending bill Thursday to prevent a government shutdown as Republicans attempt to reach a budget bill with Democrats by the end of the year. Senators approved the bill by a vote of 81-14 an hour after the House passed it on a vote of 235-193, keeping the federal government open through December 22nd. Representative Mike Simpson of Idaho said a vote against the resolution is a vote to shut down the government, while admitting a short-term funding measure is not ideal. President Donald Trump met with Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer of New York in hopes of pushing forward negotiations on a 2-year budget deal. Pelosi and other Democrats have stressed including deportation relief for Dreamers, recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program, in their negotiations. She said, "We will not leave here without a DACA fix." Trump was expected to encourage congressional leaders to keep anything related to DACA out of a budget negotiation, while pushing to increase defense spending without boosting non-defense funding, and convince Democrats to agree to his border wall. Trump said, "We hope that we're going to make some great progress for our country. I think this will happen." 2 Florida Republicans said they would vote against any year-end spending bill that did not include an immigration deal. Schumer said those demands were unlikely and a shutdown would reflect poorly on Trump and Republicans. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday sentenced Larry Nassar, the former USA gymnastics team doctor accused of sexually assaulting gymnasts, to 60 years in prison on federal child porn charges that grew out of a sex abuse investigation. U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids, Michigan, handed down the sentence sought by prosecutors who said there was a link between Nassar's child pornography and his prolific molestation of children, according to court documents. Neff said he has demonstrated that he should never again have access to children. Nassar's attorney, Matt Newberg, said he was devastated and remorseful. Nassar pled guilty in July to possessing thousands of images and video of child pornography depicting children as young as infants between 2003 and 2016. Nassar is also set to be sentenced in January in Michigan courts after pleading guilty to additional counts of criminal sexual conduct related to allegations he assaulted girls under the guise of medical treatment. At that hearing, all of the more than 120 victims or their parents will be allowed to give impact statements. Nassar is likely to spend the remainder of his life in prison. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Right now, it's looking like tonight's record $500 million Powerball drawing could be cancelled, as embarrassed lottery officials have admitted they lost the balls. Douglas Bronstein, deputy director of the Multi-State Lottery Association, addressed the press moments ago. We have a quote. "We know how important the balls are to a successful drawing. I saw them the other day, and I'm sure they'll turn up somewhere." Bronstein says it's usually marketing director Ben Callahan's job to keep an eye on the balls, but when reached for comment, Callahan said he just sits next to the balls. It's not his job to know where they are every second of every day. According to Bronstein, it's crucial they find the balls before tonight's drawing. Quote, "We'd love to use different balls, but these ones have the numbers on them." Bronstein added that once they figure out where the balls are, they promise to keep them in some sort of case instead of just lying around the office. When we return, we'll meet some of the undeterred Powerball superfans who are camping out before the big drawing dressed as their favorite numbers.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour of the program, you, as always, are invited here to join us on the radio. And you can bring up whatever's on your mind. Coming up, censorship in the EU and China. We can talk about those things. Whether you want to discuss cryptocurrency or freedom or whatever happens to be on your mind, you may take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. Joining you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And Mark.
So, Chris, you brought in a story. I've also got a censorship-related story. Yours is out of the EU, where EU countries are coming down on, what, technology provider types, web providers?
Yeah, basically
what's going on?
Google and Apple and basically Twitter and everybody who has any kind of platform. The EU is urging to remove what they refer to as extremist content.
Now, that's what I want to know is, what does the EU consider to be extremist?
Well, that's a ever-changing
target.
Yeah, target there. So, and I actually don't know that it's been defined anywhere. But here, let's.
We know it when we see it.
Yeah, right. So EU urges internet companies to do more to remove extremist content. Internet groups such as Facebook, Google's YouTube, and Twitter need to do more to stern the proliferation of extremist content on their platforms, the European Commission said after a meeting on Wednesday.
Didn't I hear, I saw a headline today that said something about Google has like 10,000 people who are going to start regulating content on their platforms.
They just hired, yeah. I don't know if they hired 10,000. I think it was kind of worded kind of weird, and
yeah.
I think they're going to increase it by a couple thousand to 10,000.
I see.
And
okay.
It's like, I don't know, 10% of their.
Finally, your children will be safe on the internet. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here.
What's the source, by the way, on your story here tonight?
So this comes from. I think I lost the source.
Oh, all right.
Because I used a service called printfriendly.com to reformat the page so I could actually read it.
Got it.
The print's big enough to read.
All right.
So let's see here. A picture illustrates. A picture illustration shows a Facebook logo reflected in a person's eye. Social media companies have significantly boosted their resources to take down violent and extremist content as soon as possible in response to growing political pressure from European governments, particularly those hit by militant attacks in recent years. But Julian King, EU Security Commissioner, said that while a lot of progress had been made, additional efforts were needed. We are not there yet. We are 2 years down the road of this journey to reach our final destination. We now need to speed up our work, King said in his closing speech at the third meeting of the EU Internet Forum, which brings together the Commission, EU member states, law enforcement, and technology companies. That's kind of interesting that it's the very particular groups, and they're all basically, there's not any representation by people who, I don't know, like freedom.
No, of course not.
No
censorship
nonprofits. There's no Electronic Frontier Foundation or equivalent in the EU that was
I mean, Google and Apple
groups.
And these guys are, like, on one hand they do good work because, like, for instance, Apple, when the U.S. government was trying to pressure them into putting a backdoor in their encryption software, they supposedly refused to do that. and did not assist the FBI in cracking into like the San Bernardino shooter's phone. When the technology companies make a stand for encryption, I'm happy when I see those things happening, but we also see them going ahead and just bending over for like the EU or for China, where these governments will come in and they'll say, hey, Google, we need you to, remember when France, the International Court ruled that you can just have references to yourself deleted if you want to from the internet? And Google just went along with that.
I can't quite understand this. I can understand why Google made concessions to get into China because it wasn't in China.
Yeah.
But Google's in Europe, right?
Right. They've got offices there.
The product is ubiquitous within the EU. So why not move all of your offices to Switzerland, for instance? Tell the EU to, hey, the people... Your citizens are free to use our services even if you stupid judges and politicians don't like it. And if you don't like it, you can take a long walk off a short pier.
Is Switzerland not in the EU?
That's correct.
Yeah. It's Switzerland is they have some agreements, or they did, and I think they've expired, and supposedly they're probably going to come back in terms of relations for trade, but they're not.
It's
they're
just
outside the EU.
Like on one hand they kiss the ring, but on the other hand they don't bend over completely in every single aspect. It's just frustrating. These are not principled organizations in any way, so you never know when they're going to sell your freedom down the river. You can't predict it.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time that corporations, ISPs, and other entities have been threatened by governments. I know in Canada, and I think it was the 90s, they were threatened. They're like, if you don't implement censorship lists, we will force it on you. And
right, because Canada doesn't have
all of them.
They don't allow hate speech.
Yep. And I know in Canada, another thing that happened again, probably in the 90s, Yahoo. I think there was I'm trying to think what it was. I think they had a Yahoo. It was kind of equivalent of eBay, and they basically had Nazi memorabilia, that they, I guess, was on the auction site, that Yahoo auction site, and I guess Canada's court basically said that you have to take it down, and even though they're in the U.S., like even stuff in the U.S., so it was applying their rules to outside of Canada.
That's annoying.
To the U.S. version of the site. And it just was ridiculous. And I think there was another case here recently, and I don't remember if this was in the United States or it might be ongoing. It might be actually be in the United States where something similar, but not in relation to this, but where the United States has said you have to comply even though you're out. Oh yeah, it's is it with Google? Oh no, it's with Microsoft. Microsoft has basically stored their emails in. I'm trying to think. It was in Europe and one of these European countries, and
so like all the emails for Outlook or whatever, Hotmail,
something along those lines,
stored in a country.
Well, I don't know if they're all stored, but basically this particular email was, and the FBI, I believe it was, came in and they were like, you have to give us that email because you can access it, even though it was actually being held by probably some sort of subsidiary. I'm terrible in my words today. In Europe, and and they're
so simply because they had an office in the United States, they have the FBI has global jurisdiction over their servers.
So we will hold your highest
the logic,
ranking employee hostage until you give us what we want.
Yeah,
is essentially what they say. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's another situation happened in Brazil where they actually held somebody who didn't have control over the servers. They were just like the marketing people basically, and the guy in charge of in Brazil of that company, I forget which company this was, but it was like a Twitter or something like that, or Snapchat, one of them, and they basically held this guy, and he didn't even have any authority over what was happening in the U.S. operation of the company. Wow. And they put him in jail. So yeah, I mean it's crazy stuff that happens, but I mean governments think they can just kind of they can make orders that can't even be complied with, and then you don't comply and they throw you in jail.
Right, that's how it works.
It's insane, but that's what happens. All right, let me continue.
Yeah, please, if there's more.
Yeah. The EU has said, this is the best part. The EU said it will come forward with legislation next year if it is not satisfied with the progress made by tech companies in removing extremist content. while a German online hate
So right
speech...
now they want it to be voluntary.
Right. Yeah, voluntary. They're basically doing it under threat of
if you don't do
force.
this, we're going to legislate.
Right.
Which is the way they did it with the video game rating system here in the United States back in the 90s.
That's how they did it with the comic books rating system back in the 60s.
They have a comic books rating system?
They're used to, well, not a rating system, but the Comic Code Authority is what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, while a German online hate speech law comes into effect on January 1st. So there's already basically something going on in Germany, which has already been put into place. So, if there's any question about, is it coming? It is coming. It's probably, either they comply or
here it is.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the gist of it, I think.
Well, it's not that, like you said, this is just the beginning here, and it's not just the EU. Of course, China already has strict controls online. We know Australia several years ago added an internet porn filter and are blocking certain websites from even being accessed.
Political
sites now. Yep, and it started with porn. That was the excuse. Was, well, we got to stop the child pornography, and so that's how you get the camel's nose under the tent. And then before you know it, it's so-called extremists and hate speech and, on
everything
down the line.
Else, yeah.
There's more coming up here. We'll tell you why free speech matters in moments.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live. Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, The Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and you can Skype in here at Skype username lrn.fm. Should you wish to join us, you can comment on anything that happens to be on your mind, and if you'd like to try out the best pillow you'll ever use, probably, you can go to mypillow.com and get yours with code FTL to get half off of My Pillow. I lost my pillow. I brought it to the hotel in Portsmouth.
Oh, man.
And I left at 6 in the morning, so I was not fully with my wits about me.
This is a couple of times you've done this.
It's happened more than once. Yeah. So, luckily, I have more than one My Pillow, so I'm not completely without a My Pillow.
Time to buy another.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't going to be without mine.
Yeah, you had Daryl ship yours to you down in Florida.
I forgot it on the bed, and I meant to bring it with me. And I'm not going to sleep for a couple of weeks in Florida without my pillow. So I had him ship it to me.
So you go to mypillow.com and then use code FTL. You get half off or two for the price of one. It's up to you. Unlike a regular pillow that you've had your whole life or for a long time, it's collected a bunch of dust and dead skin and dirt and things like that. You go to use a MyPillow, you can actually put it in the washer and the dryer. It's designed for that. In fact, it's also designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. It's a great pillow. And if you don't like it, if you don't agree with us, that's okay. You can actually send it back to MyPillow within 60 days of your purchase, and they will go ahead and send back your purchase price. So if you do decide to keep it, as I have done, then you can feel good because the pillow is guaranteed to last you for 10 years. It's mypillow.com with code FTL. Makes a great gift for any time of the year, but especially here during the holiday season. Since you brought up censorship, Chris, I've got a related story. This one from Bloomberg Technology. It's about a Chinese tech conference, China's World Internet Conference, which featured Apple Incorporated's Tim Cook and Google's Sundar Pichai. They made their first appearances at the China World Internet Conference, bringing star power to a gathering the Chinese government uses to promote its strategy of tight controls online. Apple's chief executive officer gave a surprise keynote at the opening ceremony on Sunday, calling for future internet and AI technologies to be infused with privacy, security, and humanity. The same day, one of China's most senior officials called for more aggressive government involvement online to combat terrorism and criminals. Wang Huning, one of 7 men on China's top decision-making body, even called for a global response team to go well beyond its borders. It was Cook's second appearance in China in 2 months, following a meeting with President Xi Jinping in October. The iPhone maker has most of its products manufactured in the country and is trying to regain market share in smartphones against local competitors such as Huawei Technologies Company. The theme of this conference, Developing a Digital Economy for Openness and Shared Benefits, is a vision that we at Apple share. We are proud to have worked alongside many of our partners in China to help build a community that will join a common future in cyberspace. The Wuzhen Conference, which until this year has had a primarily local presence, is designed to globally promote the country's vision of a more censored and controlled internet. The attendance of leaders from 2 of the world's most valuable tech giants lends credibility to China's efforts to influence the global internet so it better represents or resembles its own. A little bit more here in moments, but just to talk further about what has happened in countries like China and Australia, and now coming to the EU, apparently Germany with a new censorship initiative was just talked about in the last story from Chris. Mm-hmm. You're going to see more of this because people don't want to be offended. People you've seen in the United States with the snowflakes, people being at the college campuses wanting to kick people off the campus or prevent them from even showing up in the first place if they might say something that could be considered triggering or offensive. We've seen this big pushback, especially among younger people, it seems, against freedom of speech. And maybe they just don't understand why freedom of speech is valuable. And it can be easy when you hear things that you don't want to hear, that can make you feel a little uncomfortable. You could want those things to go away. I can completely understand that. But the value of freedom of speech is that someday the things that you think are important and the things that you want to say could be added to that list of prohibitions. It could be added to that list of thou shalt not speak of these matters. And while you may say to yourself, well, that's not going to happen, I don't say anything that's offensive, the tides tend to change politically over the years. Who would have thought that Donald Trump would be the president of the United States? But there he is. And so as the government aggregates more power to itself and has the ability and gets away with oppressions on freedom of speech, and I'm not just talking about the U.S. government, but any government out there, the U.S. government has been less offensive in this manner than some of the other governments in the world. But you have to protect the unpopular speech in order to protect all speech. Because if you don't protect all speech, it's really just a question of when they're going to come after you. The old poem from Pastor Martin Niemöller, first they came after the communists, and I wasn't a communist, so I didn't speak up. Then they came after the trade unionists, and then so on. And then eventually nobody was left when they finally came after him, was the idea. So even when somebody is saying something that's offensive to you, if you care about freedom, and maybe you don't, but if you do care about freedom, even if that thing is offensive, you should stand up for that person's right to say it, because otherwise you could be next.
Every good idea that we currently possess in today's culture was a bad idea in the past. I mean, you're not going to see evolution of ideas if we don't allow what we consider to be bad ideas today. Now, I don't know what those ideas are. I'm certain I've got some of them. The ideas of human freedom are pretty repugnant to those that are thoroughly invested in the government continuing its power.
Sure.
But
like the Chinese government.
But like the United States government, the Barack Obama quote that a nation state is defined by its monopoly on violence.
That's right.
And he comes right out and says
it's the truth
that. By the way, the inclusion of the term nation in that is redundant, because a city-state is defined by a monopoly on violence in a given geographic area. A state is the state monopoly on violence. That's all you need to know. And the idea that I want to separate those things from being true, that is repugnant to people in many cases. So, yeah, sure, there are ideas out there that I don't like very much, but I'm willing to give them a listen.
Apple has come under fire for cooperating with Chinese authorities in removing apps that give users their uncensored communications. In November, Apple complied with government orders to pull Microsoft's Skype phone and video service from the Chinese version of its popular App Store. Cook used an earnings call with investors to justify those motives, saying that Apple obeys the laws of the markets where it operates. So when the Chinese government came calling, they said, Apple, we can't just have people being able to call people on Skype. You're going to need to get rid of that. I mean, when I think of Skype, I don't exactly think of a privacy app. I mean, every call through Skype is subject to monitoring by Microsoft. We know that the NSA, I believe, had a back door that I think we heard this from Edward Snowden.
They centralized it. It was decentralized, and they decentralized it explicitly for that purpose.
When they took it over?
For government NSA use stuffing.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the Chinese government saying Skype is too uncontrolled. Skype, the most monitored, controlled system as far as
not by the Chinese government, and that's the problem.
Right. So more coming up here. You can share your thoughts. Luckily, we do have the geeks out there protecting internet freedom. Thank goodness. More coming up.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you may join us on the radio here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Mark.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Just head on over to freetalklive.com, where you can shop with us this holiday season or anytime during the year. We've got links to Walmart over there at freetalklive.com. You go to shop.freetalklive.com. In fact, I just ordered a couple tablets on walmart.com the other day because they actually whipped Amazon's butt on price. They had the same exact tablet, but it was like $15 cheaper over at Walmart. And I'm getting the tablets so we can give them away to local businesses that are accepting cryptocurrency here in town. So if the business doesn't already have a tablet and that could normally be an objection to them, like, oh, well, we can't accept crypto because we can't afford a tablet. Well, here, have this one. So that's what I did there over at Walmart. You can go and shop with us over at shop.freetalklive.com. Get your shopping done. Get your gifts for the holiday season. You've still got time to get delivery before Christmas or whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. Shop.freetalklive.com. As we continue, we were talking about Bitcoin in the beginning portions of the show. If you've got more comments on freedom of speech, you're certainly welcome to jump in here. But ultimately, Bitcoin is freedom of speech, if you want to look at it that way. A lot of people think of it as cryptocurrency, but it's really just programming, isn't it? I mean, somebody, Satoshi Nakamoto, took the time, and we don't know how long it took him, but they wrote code. Code is speech. You are literally writing something down. You are writing words that, when compiled, turn into a program that is usable. Am I right about this? Code's freedom of speech, isn't
absolutely. It should be. There have been some very bad precedents in regards to this matter.
Really?
Yes.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S. There was a case involving DECSS, which was a program to crack DVD encryption in the 90s. And yeah, basically a hacker magazine called 2600 was hosting the source code, and the courts basically, because of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, were like, you can't say this, you can't host this. And so they took down the source code, and then they started linking to other people who were hosting the code, and then they finally said, you can't link to this, and so they stopped linking to it, and they just had text of the link. Anyway,
I love 2600.
Yeah, it was a great magazine. But
they're not around anymore?
No, they're still around.
They're still quarterly, right? Hacker Quarterly?
Yeah. And but eventually they did have to, they lost, and they decided not to appeal because it would set a bad precedent if they kept appealing it. And so they were like, well, you guys are clearly biased against us because we're a Hacker Quarterly, and so...
Right. And then they put, what was it, Barrett Brown? I forget his last name, but there was a guy who had posted a link.
Again, same thing. Link.
Right.
He posted
in
a chat room. Yep.
And they sent him to prison.
Yeah, it was on IRC, and they sent him. Yeah, exactly.
So we definitely have some problems with free speech here in the United States, but technically, programming is speech, and whether or not the U.S. government decides they want to criminalize that speech is another question, but it is speech. Bitcoin is free speech. You are basically sending around somebody's speech when he spoke the blockchain into existence.
Yeah, it's math too. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, everything boils down to ones and zeros, and there's some other things that shouldn't be possible. The courts have kind of allowed, like patents and things on, like, theoretically math shouldn't be patentable, and that's all programs are, and yet that's not what the courts have ruled.
When speech threatens business interests, like big banks, then you can expect they're going to arrange themselves against that particular speech, and they're going to do what they can to put a stop to it. And in the news this week, headline from CNBC, the world's biggest banks reportedly want to halt the Bitcoin futures launch. Remember we talked, I think it was last week, about the big headline that said that the NASDAQ, and there's other organizations around the U.S. and I think around the world that are going to be adding what they call Bitcoin futures. Now, I'm not an investor, so I don't really know what that means. I know it's not actually Bitcoin, though. It's some sort of a bet on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Sure.
Isn't it like basically an agreement?
Yeah, it's an agreement to deliver.
So it's not the actual Bitcoin. Like, it's somebody might. Is it, Mark? You probably have a better understanding. You sound like you have a pretty good foundation understanding of this. But isn't it something like it's a contract for Bitcoin, kind of like that, and it's also a prediction on the price of what it will be? Well, you would want to predict
in order to. So, for instance, I tell you I will deliver you a Bitcoin in 3 months for $20,000. If you're taking that bet, you're betting that Bitcoin will be worth more than $20,000, and I'm betting that Bitcoin will be worth less than $20,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now that's just straight up gambling, right?
It's not. It's delivery. I mean, So
how is it that you don't call that gambling?
I don't call it gambling. No. So let's talk about pork belly futures. All right. So you got a business. You need bacon.
Yeah.
For bacon, you need pork belly and something to smoke it with.
Sure.
Okay, and brine. So you got the wood and the brine. You're good on that. You're going to need pork bellies, but you don't need them today.
Yeah.
You need them in 3 months because you need pork bellies delivered on an ongoing basis because you can't sell all your bacon at once. You're going to have to sell it over time. So do you want to, do you want to just rely on the vagaries of the market, or do you want to have a set price for the delivery of your pork bellies?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
So you're saying the buyer will get the price that the seller agrees to. So the seller's the one gambling.
They're both gambling.
They're both. You admitted it. It is gambling.
Well, gambling in the sense that you don't know what's going to occur.
Yeah, you're taking a chance.
You know what it is? It's the level of risk that you're taking.
Yeah.
And theoretically, an investment should be a lower risk than actual gambling. But obviously, gambling, even if you go to a casino, there's different games with different levels of risk.
This is a different game. You're playing with products.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's gambling.
You can look. It's all gambling if you want. If you choose to look at it that way. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, just holding Bitcoin is gambling on Bitcoin going up.
Of course
in the future.
it is.
Okay.
I'm not against gambling. Let's just call it what it is.
I don't know.
These people talking like they're businessmen.
It's all.
You're not
it's
gambling.
a legal thing.
It's an investment.
It's a legal
too.
thing. It's how it's been defined. Basically by laws.
Yeah, I don't care what the law says. If you are risking something, you could take a loss based on chance.
Yep.
It's a gamble.
It's fine. You can look at it as a gamble, and I don't think it's an inaccurate way to speak. But if you choose to use the term gambling to diminish what Bitcoin or stocks or bonds or any of these things are,
you gamble when you drive to work in the morning.
Right. So long as you're clear on your definition. Yeah. But there are people that will choose to say something to the effect of Bitcoin is just gambling. And they will remove from the table pork belly futures or United States savings bonds or anything else out there. Because buying a savings bond, which has traditionally been the most conservative investment, is a gamble the United States government will continue on and exist in the future. And I have news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Every empire that we have ever studied in school is all gone, and the United States will go away someday too.
Wall Street banks have raised objections to the introduction of Bitcoin futures trading, highlighting fears the financial system can't cope with the cryptocurrency's volatile price swings. Bitcoin has rocketed higher, crossing the $15,000 mark. As we know, it actually went past 17. It's now floating around 16,000 for one Bitcoin. The UK's Financial Times reported that a letter from the Futures Industry Association, which counts the world's biggest banks among its members, was sent Thursday to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission in the U.S. The letter reportedly criticizes the introduction of Bitcoin futures and states that the Chicago exchanges, CME Group and CBOE Global Markets should not be allowed to launch Bitcoin futures under a self-certifying regime. The FT reported that a draft version seen by the newspaper said proposed rules for Bitcoin futures trading do not, quote, align with potential risks that underline their trading. CBOE Global Markets is due to launch its Bitcoin futures exchange on Sunday. The CME Group is due to launch its version on December 17th. So if the government's going to put a stop to this, they better do it soon because it's about to get started. Now, will they be able to stop it after the fact? Probably. But will they? Will these banks be able to sway enough political favor to put a stop for now to these Bitcoin futures tradings? More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Whether you share content as a curator or produce it as a creator, the source of your advertising revenue is often limited by intermediaries like YouTube. What if there was a way to connect content creators directly with advertisers, decentralizing attention-based market advertising transactions and putting the control back into the hands of content owners? Introducing the revolutionary Signal Token Protocol by Spective VR. Partnered with Blend Media, the largest network of 360 video content in the world, and featured on Fox Business's Innovations, Spective VR is a 360 VR streaming platform created to be the first use case and early adopter of the Signal Token Protocol, driving real use and allowing Spective to optimize their platform. SpectiveVR.com is hosting a pre-ICO for Signal tokens starting December 8th at a 40% bonus. For early access to the token sale and an exclusive 60% token bonus, sign up for the email list at SpectiveVR.com.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram.com. That's Pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free. Join us in these remaining moments. You may bring up what you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, you told me off the air today that the fundraiser that we had announced one time this week on Free Talk Live has not only met its goal, the hope.freetalklive.com to build, to finish the building. We've been raising funds over the period of several months, but to finish the building of an orphanage in Uganda for 40-something children. It's now a 2-story operation, which originally was going to be a 1-story, but they were able to, do a really good job and got a good price on building it. Went a little bit, I guess there was some miscommunications. You didn't exactly know how much you had to ask for or whatever. So you've come back this week and you asked for a little bit more, $9,800, I think it was, to finish this off. But you had quadruple matching from Cell411 at getcell411.com, from Roger Veer over at bitcoin.com, from the Shire Free Church. Shire Free Church was matching 2x and the others were matching 1x. So anybody who donated to this end portion of the fundraiser was having their funds quadrupled on top of their own. So if you donated $10, $40 more worth would come on top of that. Yeah. And you met the goal within 24 hours of announcing it on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, it probably wasn't even that.
Right. It was like sometime the next day you met that goal. But not only have you met that goal, you've smashed through that goal because people didn't know that it was over, so they just kept on donating, right? What happened?
Right.
Where are we at?
It looks like we're about almost $1,300 over. And I just want to talk about what's going to happen with that money, okay?
The extra.
Yeah, the extra money. I'm going to keep it and buy stuff for myself for Christmas. It's going to be great.
You're not.
So I'm going to send it off to them, to the orphanage, right?
Yeah.
So
They throw a big party.
Yeah. The last time they had a big party, you know what it was?
They had like new used shoes that they were given.
Used shoes, fish, and rice.
And like a soccer ball.
Yeah, well, you're putting all the parties together.
Yeah.
They've had a few parties in the year and a half that I've been paying attention, and they're one of our the Misfits for Christ church that found out about the project through us. They sent a couple of soccer balls, and the kids had a great time with these cool soccer balls. And then there was an incident with some used shoes and then a few other things.
They should probably have a little party and use the rest to buy Bitcoin, but that's just my recommendation.
Yeah. In talking investment is just well beyond the ability to.
Well, you are sending cryptocurrency over there. That's how you're paying them. So
they've seen some appreciation because they don't always cash out everything right away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have needs, and
Sure.
Those needs need to be met. So anyway, the building's basically built. There's a few things that need to be done, and this $9,200 will cause that to be done, and then the additional $1,300 or so that's remaining will go to things like shoes and fish and rice and stuff like that. They're building they're making a garden, but the garden isn't ready yet, and so they're not ready to harvest crops to sell at the market or anything like that.
So you've met the goal.
Yep, met the goal.
You don't have to keep donating, but if you want to learn more about it, you can still go to hope.freetalklive.com. Thank you to everybody who's taken part, and thank you to the matching donors as well.
Yeah, there's one big anonymous Bitcoin Cash donor.
Cool.
A big Bitcoin donor, James, and Joshua through PayPal.
Great.
So those are the big donors. And Jana, it's a pretty good-sized donor there.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you guys for that. Let's go to Sarah in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I did mention the pedestrian activated crossing before. It's called a HAWK, HAWK or something. I did mention it, but I think it could really help.
Is this one of those things where the pedestrian presses a button and it starts flashing at the flashing lights at the drivers to let them know to stop?
Right.
Okay.
But
yeah, I've seen those here in Keene, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, you do have those? You do have those. They're not them. The ones in Phoenix, and you know that we're number one in bicycle fatalities. I think I'm talking about it because those
poor bicycles.
Who's number one in bicycle fatalities? You just said Phoenix, didn't you?
Albuquerque is. We got the top. We got top Kate this year.
City in bicycle.
You're checking Sarah because she frequently is incorrect on her claims.
She thinks everybody's dying of everything in Albuquerque.
But sometimes she's right on those claims.
Yeah, that's our rating, and we kill about 9 bicyclists for our population. I think it's 700,000 people here, so it's per capita we're number one, and after that is Tucson, and so it's all the Southwest, the area that I was talking about. All of it was developed after the advent of the cars. It was all designed for the cars, and it's no wonder the bicycles have all these fatalities. So Tucson and all the warm areas. So I think it really might help. So
wait. How are the pedestrian crosswalks going to help lower bicycle fatalities?
Because the bicyclists would use the same crossing also as the pedestrians are using.
Why?
If they have more of these.
But why?
It'll be a safe place to cross. It'll be a safer place for pedestrian and bicyclists.
But don't bicyclists normally ride in the road? Like if I'm a bicyclist, I'm riding with traffic. I'm not on the side of the road waiting to cut through. I mean, I guess there'd be times when it could be useful, but generally you're riding with traffic. You're part of traffic. You're slightly slower than the traffic.
What I'm saying is that the part of the accident that would be reduced is when they're crossing the street, they'd be doing the same thing that a pedestrian would do.
Yeah, but normally if I'm riding down a street, I'm riding with the traffic, so if I'm going to cross a street, I just merge from one lane to the next as I'm moving forward. You're talking about somebody who is off their bike, who is then, going to like walk it across the street or something like that.
Or they bike it, the warriors, the bike path.
Have you ever ridden a bike?
Yes, I have.
Okay, just making sure, because you've never driven a car.
Well, I have driven my family's car. I never owned a vehicle.
I see. Did you ever get a driver's license?
I did have a driver's license.
When was the last time you drove a car?
Until I was like maybe 23. Mm-hmm. But I got into big 2 wrecks, and that was enough for me. And then I was in a taxi, and I got into another wreck.
Oh,
so
that's no fun.
why I'm a car freaked out. I'm terrified of driving.
You're triggered by cars.
Jacksonville number 1, Tampa number 2, Orlando number 3, Miami number 4.
You're not even close.
Albuquerque doesn't show up on the list.
Sorry, Sarah. Where'd you get your information from?
Attorney Brian White.com.
You know what? It was announced on KKOB just this morning and yesterday. I mean, we're talking about last year's data.
Mark, is your data dated?
Doesn't have a date on it, no.
She's saying she heard it on the radio. So it must be true.
That's right.
The problem is that it's difficult to know exactly what was said on the radio, right? So, like, is it the deadliest? She said per capita. First she said deadliest, and then she said per capita.
Yeah,
those would be important facts. And I don't know how that, I didn't have a chance to read that article top to bottom or anything like that. But you would think Albuquerque would show up on the list
if it were
the deadliest, per capita or something. And so, I don't know.
Sarah, thank you for the call here tonight. Nonetheless, people should be careful when they're out there on the roads, whether you're on a bicycle or in a car or a pedestrian. It's always important to be aware of your surroundings because those other people don't know how to drive. You're fine. You are fine. It's all those other people who don't know what they're doing. So you have to act like that when you're on the road and just presume that they don't know what they're doing.
I let my wife drive. Because she just screams in the passenger seat randomly when I'm driving. I have no idea what she's doing. It scares me. It upsets me. So I just don't. She just drives.
That's good.
It makes her happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Or less unhappy, I think is probably the best way to describe it.
So anyway, you can, of course, join us here and bring up anything you want. Big news out of New Hampshire is that Dash is taking hold in the retail marketplace. Got a detailed story about it over at freekeen.com. Not going to have time to share it with you here tonight, but if you're into cryptocurrency and you're interested in being in the place where there's the best activism for that, where we actually have more cryptocurrency accepting businesses per capita than pretty much all the major cities in the world, from what I can tell. That's happening here. In fact, Derek J. Freeman, one of our former co-hosts, has made the statement online that it's the reason why he left San Francisco, where he was living for a time, to move back to New Hampshire. He had thought San Francisco was going to be a real hotspot for cryptocurrency acceptance. It's supposedly the #1 city per capita, but Keene and Portsmouth beat its pants off by a factor of 4 per capita. So we have far greater acceptance.
Certainly was a reason I also was interested in coming here. It demonstrated what I believed.
He said there was one restaurant in San Francisco and they closed. So you can't really spend it in real life there, according to him. Anyway, more over there at freekeen.com. We'll see you tomorrow night. Check out thinkpenguin.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,249 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,804. Antiwar.com reports that Saudi warplanes continue to pound the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a at an increased rate on Thursday, while operations on the ground appear to have shifted southwest, with pro-Saudi forces attacking coastal areas held by the Shiite Houthi movement. Reports out of the Quqqa district on the Red Sea coast of Yemen say that pro-Saudi forces have more or less entirely captured the area, which includes a town and a small fishing port. At least 25 were killed in the fighting. The district itself is of limited value, but the push is in keeping with Saudi-led efforts to conquer as much of the Yemeni coast as possible to ensure that shipments of food and medicine into the country are done more or less exclusively under their control. Fishing ports notwithstanding, the Houthi movement has only a single port at Hodeidah, which would need food and medicine imports for 15 million people in northern Yemen. A Saudi blockade, however, allows a tiny fraction of that in. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Congress passed a short-term spending bill Thursday to prevent a government shutdown as Republicans attempt to reach a budget bill with Democrats by the end of the year. Senators approved the bill by a vote of 81-14 an hour after the House passed it on a vote of 235-193, keeping the federal government open through December 22nd. Representative Mike Simpson of Idaho said a vote against the resolution is a vote to shut down the government, while admitting a short-term funding measure is not ideal. President Donald Trump met with Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer of New York in hopes of pushing forward negotiations on a 2-year budget deal. Pelosi and other Democrats have stressed including deportation relief for Dreamers, recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program, in their negotiations. She said, "We will not leave here without a DACA fix." Trump was expected to encourage congressional leaders to keep anything related to DACA out of a budget negotiation while pushing to increase defense spending without boosting non-defense funding and convince Democrats to agree to his border wall. Trump said, "We hope that we're going to make some great progress for our country. I think this will happen." 2 Florida Republicans said they would vote against any year-end spending bill that did not include an immigration deal. Schumer said those demands were unlikely and a shutdown would reflect poorly on Trump and Republicans. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday sentenced Larry Nassar, the former USA Gymnastics team doctor accused of sexually assaulting gymnasts, to 60 years in prison on federal child porn charges that grew out of a sex abuse investigation. U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids, Michigan, handed down the sentence sought by prosecutors who said there was a link between Nassar's child pornography and his prolific molestation of children, according to court documents. Neff said he has demonstrated that he should never again have access to children. Nassar's attorney, Matt Newberg, said he was devastated and remorseful. Nassar pled guilty in July to possessing thousands of images and video of child pornography depicting children as young as infants between 2003 and 2016. Nassar is also set to be sentenced in January in Michigan courts after pleading guilty to additional counts of criminal sexual conduct related to allegations he assaulted girls under the guise of medical treatment. At that hearing, all of the more than 120 victims or their parents will be allowed to give impact statements. Nassar is likely to spend the remainder of his life in prison. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Researchers at Princeton University's Department of Sociology have made a major leap in our understanding of social interaction.
We conducted trials in 90 supermarkets across the country and found that essentially 100% of people disapproved of having a stranger hit them across the face and then expose their genitalia right in the middle of the supermarket, which we found very interesting.
Researchers observed similar reactions when the subject hurled shopping carts toward unsuspecting shoppers, stood in the deli section rubbing cold cuts against his chest, or got right near cashier's ears and began loudly singing Yankee Doodle.
In this particular trial, we had our subject, Kevin, take off his shirt, tape a banana to his forehead, and charge at various shoppers like he was a rhino. Within 20 minutes, store owners called the police and he was arrested, allowing us to come to the conclusion that this type of behavior is still considered at least somewhat taboo.
This is the Onion News Network.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Torchwood Report. I am Matthew Taylor, along with the one true Niz. Today is December 8th, 2017, and guys, we have a loaded show for you tonight. But before we jump into any of that, I'm going to kick it over to my co-host Niz, and he is going to give you our announcements. Niz?
This broadcast is covered by the BIPCOT No Government License. That means that you are free to use or rebroadcast portions or segments of this show, so long as you are not an agent or advocate for government. If you fail to heed this warning, you will be socially shamed. For more information, please visit bipcot.org. That's BIPCOT.org.
So Niz, the media has been on fire this week. Everywhere you look, there's stuff to talk about. And honestly, I don't even think we got any quickies this week. I think we're just jumping right into everything. So I think the only really quick thing we had to mention was Al Franken. You saw Al Franken step down, right?
Yeah, resigned because of sexual harassment accusations. Bum, bum, bum.
And I think we said that was a possibility when we touched on that a couple weeks ago. But we're not really going to dive too deeply into that, just kind of an update on that story. But the first real big thing I want to talk about this week is the verdict that came out on Tuesday against the former Mesa, Arizona cop Philip Michael Brailsford. Now, if you remember or don't know about this story, this happened in 2015. Brailsford responded to a call at the La Quinta Inn about a man sticking a long rifle out of a window. So cops respond, and at the end of the exchange, the one of the people who were in the room, his name was Daniel Shaford, was shot and killed. There was a whole trial. Well, Thursday,
was there
Brailsford
in the room?
As far as
gun in the room?
what was found inside of the room, as far as I can remember, everything, there was no actual weaponry. It was all like airsoft. There was 3 people in the room. Only 2 people were caught on video at the time when the cops showed up. Now, the evidence was only shown to the courtroom and was suppressed to civilians up until the verdict of not guilty was released on Thursday. Then a couple hours afterwards, the video was released, and it's gone pretty viral. Right before we went on air, Niz and I sat down and actually gave it a viewing, and it's really graphic and kind of shows a story of cops coming in, and at least to what I see here, cops coming in, giving a lot of very aggressive orders that seem to counteract each other.
It was clear just from watching this video that this particular gentleman was having a hard time understanding how the police officer wanted him to crawl towards him without using his front hands.
Right, because he tells him several times to put his hands up. He even tells him at one point, if he's going to fall forward on his face, because if he doesn't, they will shoot him. In fact, several times inside of this video, on the body camera from the officer, it shows him making threats of violence and deadly force before it ever seemed necessary. It was the starting point of this engagement. And it almost seems like this was an inevitability because he gives so many different style orders and terrifies this man. I mean, Shaford is heard several different times throughout the video crying and begging not to be shot. As he's at one point crawling, I don't know if his shirt got stuck, what happened. It looked like he kind of reached up at his stomach for a second. Now, that prompted both officers in the hallway to shoot. They shot several times. I'm not going to use the word unloaded because they didn't unload a clip, but several rounds were fired. And
not everybody else does it. Just sensationalize it like everyone else does. Any other do exactly what the mainstream media would do if the situation was reversed. You got to talk about what a hero this is crazy, man. Really is absolutely crazy. I can't believe that all of this happened. This guy lost his life for nothing. This is crazy.
And here's the thing, okay? Now, I don't want to point this out, but this is it's got to be said. Primarily police violence is looked at as a white on black issue, and it's transcends that so much. I mean, I can think of several different instances of people who are where it's white on white, black on black, white on Asian. It doesn't matter the race. It's the oppression that the badge brings to the everyday man that causes such instances for this to happen. And I don't mean to use such crass language when I say this, but every law inside of the law books in the United States needs to end with, or we will fucking kill you. Because every single instance that you break a law, there is a chance that it ends with your life. Because say you get a parking ticket and you don't pay that parking ticket, and then they want you to turn around and make a payment, but you don't want to make that payment because you think it's unfair and it's unjust. So that doesn't happen. They bring somebody to come take you to jail, and you decide, I don't want to go to jail. So they use deadly force, and you lose your life over a $25 parking ticket. Because every law should end that way. Because at the end of the day, that's how serious the government is about taking their money from you.
It's so more maniacal than what you described as parking ticket. You're in the backyard grilling with your family, and the neighbor sees smoke coming from your yard on the other side of the fence and calls the police. All they're there to do is see what the smoke is about. Are you burning? Is something on fire, or are you grilling? What's the deal? Why is this neighbor calling? Because they see smoke from the other side of your fence. And then the cops show up, and you get murdered in front of your whole family. That's kind of how these things are starting to go.
And it's happening. It's happening all over the place. So, I mean, this isn't just, like I said, a white and black issue. Here you have